Chapter 6:24. Shatter the stone column. Generally speaking, it was extremely difficult to pass through the first layer of defense of the Zhang clan's forbidden grounds. Despite the size of the Zhang clan, there was only one person who had the privilege to enter and leave the Zhang clan's forbidden grounds at any time. That person was the ancestor of the Zhang clan, Zhang Shan. As for the rest of the martial artists, if they wanted to enter the forbidden area, there was only one way. First, they had to have a special token, and second, they had to be personally led by the current patriarch. These inspections were carried out by the 2 guards stationed outside the courtyard. As for the guards inside the courtyard, they were mainly responsible for the second round of inspections. The second round of inspection was much easier. As long as one was confirmed to be a cultivator of the Zhang clan, they would be allowed to pass. Zhang Ji and Zhang Li were the guards of the second round. They were at the peak of the early Yinyang realm. They guarded the second layer of defense of the Forbidden Land, which was also the main entrance of the Forbidden Land. Zhang Ji, why does Great Elder want to enter the forbidden area at this time? Zhang Li looked at the bronze door at the side and said with a frown, in the past 10 years, this is the first time First Elder has entered the forbidden area. You're asking me, but who should I ask? Zhang Ji rolled his eyes at Zhang Li and said indifferently, we've been guarding the forbidden area all year round and can't even take half a step out. Even so, it's still too strange. Zhang Li murmured, not long after the old ancestor left the forbidden grounds, the patriarch brought the Great Elder into the forbidden grounds. I reckon, who? Suddenly, Zhang Li's expression changed, and he hurriedly shifted his gaze to the other side. Voila! To the east of Zhang Li, a martial artist slowly appeared in his field of vision. This martial artist was not very old, only about 20 years old, and had a cultivation level of the mid-primal core stage. Without saying a word, Zhang Ji and Zhang Li immediately unleashed their aura and crazily suppressed the intermediate Yuan Dan stage martial arts practitioner. Even if it was a member of the Zhang family, if they wanted to enter the forbidden grounds, they had to be personally led by the family head. Not long ago, Zhang Jungang and the head elder had entered the forbidden grounds. From this, it seemed that the intermediate primal core stage warrior before them had very likely trespassed into the forbidden grounds. There was only one outcome for trespassing into the forbidden area, and that was death. Whoosh, whoosh. However, just as Zhang Ji and Zhang Li unleashed their auras, 2 beams of cold light shot out from the bodies of the mid-primal core practitioners and instantly appeared in front of them. Black dog? Red flying sword. Zhang Ji and Zhang Li exclaimed almost at the same time, slightly distracted. Rumble. However, it was this momentary distraction that caused them to pay a heavy price. The black dog raised its front paw and stabbed it into Zhang Ji's heart. The red flying sword shot through the air, gradually enlarging in Zhang Li's pupils before finally slashing his throat. Kill one, leave one alive, and force them to tell us how to open the stone door. Seeing that the Red Devil and the Dark Emperor wanted to kill him at the same time, Ningyu hurriedly said. Thump, thump. Ningyu's words were obviously a little late. Zhang Ji and Zhang Li both fell backward and landed heavily on the ground. The corner of Ningyu's mouth twitched and he was speechless. Zhang Ji and Zhang Li had been killed, so how could he open the stone door? Ningyu, there are 2 ways to open the stone door. Just as Ningyu was having a headache over how to open the stone door, Sun Jiangwen's words rang in his mind. First, rely on the Patriarch's token. Second, use brute force. Brute force. Ningyu directly ignored the first method. After all, he did not have the Patriarch's token. However, looking at the bronze stone door in front of him, Ningyu was suddenly in a dilemma. Ningyu could not imagine how much strength would be required to open the huge bronze stone door. Not just using brute force to push the stone door, but shatter the stone pillar on the left of the bronze stone door. Perhaps sensing Ningyu's confusion, Sun Jiangwen said again. Did you learn all this from Zhang Huang's memory? Ningyu did not attack the stone pillar immediately. Instead, he frowned and asked. Zhang Huang is the Zhang clan's second elder. He has a very good relationship with the current patriarch, Zhang Jun, Sun Jiangwen said. Shattering the stone pillar can open the stone door. Only 3 or 4 people in the Zhang clan know about this. Red Devil, go and give it a try, Ningyu said after a moment of silence. Swoosh. The Red Devil did not hesitate. He immediately charged toward the stone pillar with the Red Devil sword in his hand. Chi. In midair, the Red Devil transformed into an afterimage and fused with the Red Devil sword. The Red Devil was the sword spirit of the Red Devil sword. Their combined might was naturally much greater. Crack. In the next moment, a crisp sound resounded in the area. Ningyu's face darkened when he heard this crisp sound. He felt that his IQ was somewhat lacking. He even had the urge to curse. Is this the F** King Zhang clan's forbidden area? Why is a flying sword able to break it open? Ningyu, the Red Devil sword is a flying sword at the pinnacle of the king rank. It can easily slice open a stone pillar made of this material. The Red Devil immediately separated from the Red Devil sword and landed beside Ningyu. Creak. At the same time, a deep sound rang out. Then, the bronze stone door slowly opened. Let's go. Ningyu first dealt with Zhang Ji and Zhang Li before entering the bronze stone door. The Red Devil and the Dark Emperor also transformed into 2 afterimages and entered the storage ring. Cold. Extremely cold. The first thing Ningyu felt when he entered the stone door was cold, and the second was extremely cold. What the F** CK? Ningyu hurriedly released his vital energy and formed a protective barrier around him, slightly alleviating the cold. As expected of the forbidden area of a first-rate clan, the density of the vital energy in the periphery of the forbidden area is 3 to 4 times higher than the outside world. Ningyu was slightly surprised when he sensed the density of the vital energy in the surroundings. This was only the periphery of the forbidden area, but the density of the vital energy was 3 to 4 times higher than the outside world. It was conceivable that once he entered the deepest part of the forbidden area, wouldn't the density of the vital energy be more than 10 times higher than the outside world? Sun Jiangwen, how do I get to the deepest part of the forbidden area? Ningyu restrained his desire to cultivate here and asked in a low voice. His top priority was to find Zhang Jun and Zhang He as soon as possible and then control them. Only then could he get rid of the huge problem that was the Zhang clan once and for all. Go straight ahead. You will encounter 3 soul spirit array formations and 1 vital energy array formation, Sun Jiangwen replied honestly. At that time, I will naturally tell you how to break the array formation. Hearing Sun Jiangwen's words, Ningyu felt a lingering fear. Fortunately, he had captured Zhang Huang first and interrogated him about the forbidden area. Otherwise, he would definitely trigger the soul spirit and vital energy array formations. At that time, the consequences would be unimaginable. Gotcha. What Ningyu did not know was that when he was rushing towards the deepest part of the forbidden area, in a secret chamber in the deepest part of the forbidden area, 2 martial artists were filled with rage. Among them, the late-stage yin-yang martial artist slammed his palm on the chair beside him, shattering it into pieces. Zhang Jun, activate the Soul Spirit Array Formation and Vital Energy Array Formation. We must kill this martial artist as soon as possible. The late-stage yin-yang martial artist said coldly. Grand Elder, isn't it a little too early to activate the Soul Spirit and Vital Energy Array Formations now? Chapter 625. Chapter 625. Meeting Ghost again. What is the meaning of this? Are you afraid of even a mid-yuan core stage warrior? Zhang He said coldly. This is the forbidden area of the Zhang family. As long as the formation is activated, even a peak yin-yang stage warrior will have to face it. I am not afraid of Ningyu, but I am very confused, Zhang Jun said. Ningyu is only a mid-yuan core stage warrior, how can he enter the forbidden area? There are 2 layers of defense in the forbidden area and a total of 4 early Yin-Yang stage warriors. Even if Ningyu could kill all of them, how did he open the bronze door? Zhang Jun continued, there are only 2 ways to open the bronze door. First, use my token, and second, use brute force to shatter the stone pillars. I don't believe that Ningyu can shatter the stone pillars with his mid-Yuan core stage cultivation. Zhang Jun took out the Patriarch's token and played with it in his hand. What do you mean? Zhang He's face instantly darkened. Are you suspecting me? How could I suspect you? Zhang Jun explained, in less than an hour, the corpse sect will send experts to the Zhang family. If I'm not wrong, the corpse sect will only send experts for one purpose, and that is to mobilize the Zhang family's cultivators to the Coiling Dragon Ridge. Because the corpse sect is already at war with Danwu College and the royal family, they will definitely not have enough people. You mean? Zhang He vaguely guessed a possibility. He. Call all the Yin-Yang realm martial artists of the Zhang family to the forbidden area. When the experts of the corpse Yin sect arrive, we will activate the formation. Zhang Jun laughed. At that time, we can say that someone trespassed and we had no choice but to activate the formation. Suddenly, Zhang He twisted his neck and said, I know everything you said, but there is one thing you might not know. What do I not know? Zhang Jun asked doubtfully. Look at who I am. The corners of Zhang He's lips curled up slightly. Then, it was as if his entire being had been reborn. Even his appearance had changed greatly. Who are you? Zhang Jun roared as he pointed at the young martial artist in front of him. Facing Zhang Jun's roar, the young martial artist stomped on the ground, arriving in front of Zhang Jun in the blink of an eye. Crack! The young martial artist quickly stretched out his right hand and snapped Zhang Jun's neck before he could even react. Chi. Then, the young man placed his right hand on Zhang Jun's head and closed his eyes. In an instant, Zhang Jun's body seemed to have been sucked dry, leaving only a skeleton. Crack! Kicking Zhang Jun away, the young man said indifferently, Since you want to know who I am so badly, there's no harm in telling you. Corpse Yin Sect, Ghost Kai Palace, Guae. Ningyu was completely unaware of what was happening in this secret room. At this moment, he was carefully moving forward. Due to Sun Jiangwen's secret reminders, his journey was relatively peaceful and he didn't encounter any trouble. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. However, just as Ningyu thought that the rest of the journey would be peaceful, 4 huge flags suddenly fell from the sky and landed around him. Then, 4 pillars of Yuan Qi shot out from the flags and enveloped him. 4 abnormally violent waves of Yuan Qi continuously surged out from the flags. Each wave of Yuan Qi was enough to kill a peak Yuan core martial artist in an instant. Humph! Faced with such a powerful attack, Ningyu snorted coldly. Immediately, Yuan Qi burst out from his body and split into 4 streams, attacking the 4 flags respectively. The flags were the core of the Yuan Qi formation. Once they were all destroyed, it meant that the Yuan Qi formation would lose its effect. Crack! 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 In the next moment, 4 consecutive sounds rang out in the area. Unsurprisingly, the 4 flags were torn in half, and the Yuan Qi formation that had just been formed was easily destroyed. Crack! 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 However, before Ningyu had time to rejoice, a few crisp sounds entered his ears. Not long after, a young martial artist slowly appeared in the distance. It's you! After seeing the young martial artist's face, Ningyu's heart trembled and he said in surprise, Guai. Wrong. The Guai in Ningyu's eyes shook his head and said, To be precise, my name is not Guai, but Guai. Guai, are you the top genius of the Corpse Sex Ghost Kai Hall? Ningyu frowned and asked. You don't seem surprised by my identity at all. Are you not afraid of me? Guai was very dissatisfied with Ningyu's reaction. After all, he was the top genius of the Corpse Sex Ghost Kai Hall. Ningyu's expression did not seem to conform to common sense. Why should I be afraid of you? Ningyu felt a little strange. Most of the corpse sex Ghost Kai Hall's peerless geniuses had died in his hands. Even the Ghost Kai Hall's hall master had been killed by him. There was no need to be afraid of a mere top genius of the Ghost Kai Hall. You seem very calm, but there is something I have to tell you, Gui Yi said coldly. This is the Zhang family's forbidden area. Not long ago, the Zhang family's current patriarch, Zhang Jungang, was killed by me. Moreover, I used the corpse sex secret technique to devour his memories. Now, all the formations in this forbidden area are under my control. In other words, I don't even need to do anything to kill you. Ningyu listened quietly until Gui Yi finished speaking, then he said, You've made a big mistake. What mistake? Gui Yi raised his brows and stared at Ningyu with interest. The reason I was able to enter the Zhang family's forbidden area was because I was prepared. Ningyu shrugged and said, Hong Mo, Dark Emperor, come out. Whoosh. Whoosh. As soon as Ningyu finished speaking, Hong Mo and the Dark Emperor rushed out from the spatial ring. This aura seems to be very similar to the aura from the huge skeleton in the corpse sex treasury. Gui Yi wasn't scared by Hong Mo and the Dark Emperor. Instead, he sniffed and said, If I'm not wrong, this black dog should be the heaven-devouring dog. You're a black dog. Your whole family is black dogs. The Dark Emperor hated it the most when people called him a dog. Hearing Gui Yi's words, he immediately couldn't stand it. Calm down. Ningyu felt that Gui Yi's calmness was a little scary. He faintly felt that something was wrong. Haha, although the sky-devouring dog and the red-clothed man are at the initial yin-yang stage, they are nothing in front of me. Gui Yi smiled and waved his sleeves. In an instant, 4 rays of cold light shot out from his sleeve. Whoosh! As soon as the 4 cold lights left Gui Yi's sleeve, they revealed themselves. Spectre corpses. They were 4 spectre corpses. Chapter 626. Bloodthirsty Sword. Ningyu, don't you think you're weak in front of these 4 pinnacle yin-yang stage spectre corpses? Gui Yi pointed at the 4 powerful spectre corpses and said, As long as you submit to me, not only will I spare your life, but I can also let you control the Zhang family in the capital. Don't be in such a hurry to reject me. The Zhang family is a first-rate force. If you control the Zhang family, your status in the capital will be comparable to the imperial family's upper echelons. Most importantly, you have no other choice now. You can only rely on me. Ningyu's face was gloomy and he did not answer Gui Yi immediately. Gui Yi's offer was indeed tempting, but Ningyu knew that things were not that simple. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu said in a deep voice, Gui Yi, I admit that these 4 spectre corpses are powerful, but it won't be easy for you to defeat me with them. Ah! Gui Yi suddenly threw his head back and laughed wildly. He then said coldly, In this world where the weak are prey to the strong, you need to have the capital to be arrogant. I'm not being arrogant. I'm just stating the facts. After Ningyu said that, he waved his sleeves. Swish! 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 In the next moment, 4 cold rays shot out from Ningyu's sleeves and wrapped around Ningyu. Puppets! Gui Yi's eyes narrowed as he stared at the 4 rays of cold light. His face instantly darkened. The 4 puppets that suddenly appeared all had auras that had reached the pinnacle of the yin-yang realm, comparable to the spectre corpse that he had summoned out. Although the puppets were not a match for the spectre corpses in terms of strength, it was easy for them to stall for a while. Ningyu, your puppets can at most contend with my spectre corpses, but the rest of you won't be so lucky. Gui Yi was worthy of being the #1 genius of the Ghost Talent Hall. He quickly regained his composure and said, Killing all of you is easier than killing dogs. Gui Yi's patience seemed to have worn thin. He tapped the ground with the tip of his foot and shot forward in a flash. His target was Ningyu. Whoosh! Whoosh! However, before Gui Yi could reach Ningyu's side, the Red Devil and the Dark Emperor blocked his path. Gue Yi's current mood was to kill anyone who stood in his way. He was naturally fearless in the face of the early-stage Yin-Yang Realm Red Devil and the Dark Emperor. Rumble. However, as soon as the battle began, First Ghost's heart thumped. The situation was completely different from what he had imagined. He had thought that he would be able to kill the man in red and the black dog easily. Who would have thought that they would unleash such a powerful attack and fight him to a standstill? This was something he could not accept. No matter what, he was the #1 genius of the Corpse Sex Ghost Talent Hall. The number of Yin-Yang Realm cultivators that had died in his hands was at least 80. Not long after he had advanced to the peak of the Yuan Core Realm, he had even personally killed a martial artist who had just advanced to the peak of the Yin-Yang Realm. With such combat strength, there was no reason for him to be unable to take down 2 early-stage Yin-Yang Realm cultivators and a dog. What Gue Yi did not know was that the shock in Ning Yu's heart was several times greater than his. The Red Devil had the Red Devil sword in his hand, and the Dark Emperor had also recovered to his peak. Their combat strength could even kill a mid-stage Yin-Yang Realm martial artist in an instant. Since Gue Yi was killed without even facing them, it meant that Gue Yi's combat strength was extremely powerful. At the very least, he had reached the late-stage Yin-Yang Realm. Attack! In an instant, Ningyu made up his mind to kill Gue Yi as soon as possible. He could not afford to delay until the powerhouses of the corpse sect arrived. Cold Face, Evil Eye, come out! Since he was going to kill Gue Yi with all his might, Ningyu naturally would not hide his strength. He immediately called out Cold Face and Evil Eye. Cold Face was at the peak of the late-stage Yin-Yang Realm, while Evil Eye was at the peak of the mid-stage Yin-Yang Realm. Their combined combat strength was not much weaker than the Red Devil and the Dark Emperor. Not good. There are actually 2 powerhouses here. Gue Yi's heart sank when he felt the powerful aura of Cold Face and Evil Eye. With such a luxurious lineup, it was no wonder that Ningyu dared to break into the Zhang family's forbidden area. Want to kill me? It won't be that easy. Gue Yi's eyes flashed coldly, and he immediately took out a flying sword from his bosom. The flying sword was red in color, and it contained a monstrous killing intent. Bloodthirsty sword. As soon as Gue Yi took out the flying sword, Cold Face shouted, "It's actually a king-rank low-grade flying sword, bloodthirsty sword. It's good that you know it. It's your honor to die under the bloodthirsty sword." Gue Yi forced out a few drops of his blood essence and dripped them on the bloodthirsty sword. Chi. The moment the blood essence and the bloodthirsty sword came into contact, a sizzling sound was heard, and then the blood essence fused with the bloodthirsty sword. Buzz. Buzz. The bloodthirsty sword kept shaking as the two fused, trying to break free from Gue Yi's grasp. "Don't worry, all of them will die later." The corner of Gue Yi's mouth rose, and he said coldly, "Let's kill them one by one. Let's kill that late-stage Yin-Yang Realm martial artist first." Swoosh. When Gue Yi's last word fell, his body suddenly disappeared without a trace. Cold Face, be careful. In fact, the moment Gue Yi disappeared, Ningyu had already guessed what he was going to do. Poochie. However, Ningyu's warning was obviously half a beat too late. Gue Yi instantly appeared in front of Cold Face, and the bloodthirsty sword in his hand fiercely stabbed at Cold Face's heart. Fortunately, Cold Face dodged in time, and his body moved slightly to the side. Otherwise, Gue Yi's attack alone would be enough to send him back to his hometown. Although Cold Face dodged the fatal blow, the bloodthirsty sword still pierced his body. In just a few seconds, Cold Face's aura dropped from the peak late-stage Yin-Yang Realm to the early-stage Yin-Yang Realm, and it was still dropping rapidly. Damn it! The sudden change caught Ningyu off guard. Cold Face's cultivation base was at the peak late-stage Yin-Yang Realm, and his combat strength could be ranked among the top among them. Since Gue Yi could defeat him so easily, didn't that mean that Gue Yi's strength could contend with a peak Yin-Yang Realm martial artist? With that thought in mind, Ningyu gritted his teeth and hurriedly said, Hong Mo, give me the red devil sword. Understood. Gui Yi's powerful combat strength also caused Hong Mo's face to turn solemn. When he heard Ningyu's words, he immediately fused with the red devil sword and controlled it to tear through the void, appearing in front of Ningyu. Dark Emperor, all of you get out of the way! Ningyu grabbed the red devil sword, and then the Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness surged out and frantically poured into the red devil sword. Buzz! As Yuan Qi continued to pour in, the red devil sword also emitted a faint trembling sound, and the trembling became more and more intense. In the end, the red devil sword also had the urge to break free from Ningyu. Humph! Insignificant skill. Gui Yi did not take the red devil sword seriously. He once again forced out a drop of blood essence and dripped it on the bloodthirsty sword. Chapter 627. Chapter 627. Bring it on! Ningyu's face lit up with joy as he watched the bloodthirsty sword approach him. He forced a drop of blood onto the red demon's sword and threw it with all his might. Haha, my bloodthirsty sword is a low-grade king-rank flying sword. It's almost a mid-grade king-rank flying sword. Gui Yi frowned and said, You dare to let your flying sword collide with the bloodthirsty sword? I have to say, you're really… What? Gui Yi couldn't help but laugh when he saw Ningyu throw the red demon sword. However, just as he was about to mock Ningyu, his eyes widened and a cold expression appeared on his face. Ding! The two flying swords collided, and a crisp sound resounded in the area. Then, the bloodthirsty sword was like a kite with a broken string, falling straight into the distance and smashing heavily into the ground. This is impossible. Gui Yi had never imagined that the bloodthirsty sword that he was so proud of would be defeated so thoroughly and without any warning. Nothing is impossible. Ningyu waved the red demon sword in his hand and said indifferently, The bloodthirsty sword is a low-grade king-rank flying sword, and the flying sword in my hand is higher than that. To be precise, my flying sword has reached the peak of king rank. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Gui Yi almost roared, You're only a mid-grade primal core cultivator, how can you control a peak king-rank flying sword? I know you want to divert my attention and wait for an opportunity to make a move. I'll tell you the truth, I won't let you succeed. Evil Eye, go control the bloodthirsty sword. The Dark Emperor and I will deal with Gui Yi. Ningyu didn't care about Gui Yi's reaction. There were less than 30 minutes left until the 1-hour deadline. What he needed to do was capture or kill Gui Yi as soon as possible. Otherwise, he would be exposed when the corpse sect powerhouses arrived. Without the bloodthirsty sword, Gui Yi's combat strength would drop by at least 30 to 40%. In other words, Gui Yi's current strength could only contend with a late-stage yin-yang stage martial artist. If he and the Dark Emperor joined hands, they were not afraid of late-stage yin-yang realm martial artists. Rumble. While Ningyu and Gui Yi were engaged in a fierce battle, the other 4 puppets were gradually showing signs of weakening. After all, the spirit corpses had a small amount of intelligence. The puppets could contend with them for a short period of time, but in the long run, it was inevitable that they would be defeated. Ha ha ha, Ningyu, the spectral corpse will completely destroy the puppet in 10 minutes. How are you going to fight me then? First Ghost was naturally aware of the situation on the other side of the battlefield. He laughed loudly and said, If you know what's good for you, noisy. Ningyu interrupted Gui Yi's words and immediately slashed out a sky-shaking sword wave towards Gui Yi's neck. Go! A cold light shot out from the Dark Emperor's eyes, and it shot towards Gui Yi along with the sword wave. Humph! You want to defeat me in 10 minutes with just the 2 of you trash? Dream on! Although Gui Yi had lost the bloodthirsty sword, he was still as arrogant as ever. Even if I don't use the bloodthirsty sword, killing late-stage yin-yang realm martial artists is like child's play to me. The great elder of the Zhang family, Zhang He, was a late-stage yin-yang realm martial artist. When Gui Yi killed him, He did not use the bloodthirsty sword. Instead, he relied on a variety of spells to kill him. Therefore, Gue was very confident that he could withstand the attack for 10 minutes. "I'll let you show off for another 10 minutes. 10 minutes! The corner of Gui's mouth curled up as he said sinisterly. However, before Gui could finish his words, he spat out a mouthful of blood, and his aura instantly dropped from the pinnacle Yuan core stage to the late stage Yuan core stage. Hee Gui, I might have to disappoint you. The Dark Emperor laughed when he saw the cold light he had slashed at Gui's neck. It's easier for the two of us to kill a late-stage Yin-Yang realm martial artist than playing around. Oh right. As he spoke, the Dark Emperor seemed to have thought of something and added, recently, there have been 4 or 5 pinnacle Yin-Yang realm martial artists who have died in our hands. You haven't even reached the Yin-Yang realm. Killing you won't give me any sense of accomplishment at all. Gui spat out a mouthful of blood when he heard the Dark Emperor's mocking words. His body could not help but tremble. Damn it! I was too careless. Gui cursed inwardly. His eyes quickly turned as he tried to think of a countermeasure. In Gui's opinion, the Black Dog's cold light was nothing to be afraid of, so he only used 10% of his strength to block it. As for the remaining 90% of his strength, he put it all into Ning Yu's sword wave. In the end, he managed to block the sword wave, but the Black Dog's cold light slashed his throat. Gui's face darkened when he felt the cold breath from his throat. He wished he could swallow the Black Dog alive. However, Gui knew that he couldn't be impulsive. He had to stay calm. Ning Yu, the experts from the corpse sect will arrive in less than half an hour. If they find out that I'm dead, they will definitely do everything they can to investigate. The closer it was to a life-and-death situation, the calmer Gui became. His calmness was somewhat terrifying. In fact, Ning Yu admired Gui for being able to remain so calm even in the face of death. It had to be said that his mental fortitude was really strong. However, in the face of absolute strength, mental fortitude was nothing. To hell with it. Gotcha. Ning Yu didn't want to waste time with Gui. He stomped his feet on the ground, causing the blue stone floor to crack. Spectre corpses, come here. Seeing that Ning Yu was about to arrive in front of him, Gui couldn't help but shout, 2 spectre corpses, stall the 4 puppets. The other 2 go all out to kill Ning Yu. It's too late to think of this now. Ning Yu's eyes turned cold. The red demon sword in his hand continued to expand in front of Gui's eyes. Finally, it pierced Gui's throat under his horrified gaze. Puff! The flying sword pierced Gui's body and blood splattered everywhere. The scene was a little bloody. Come out! Gui firmly grabbed the red demon's sword with both hands and wanted to pull it out from his neck. However, just as Gui's hands came into contact with the red demon's sword, he screamed like a pig being slaughtered. Whoosh! 2 bloody palms fell to the ground. My hand. Gui lowered his head to look at his arm. His eyes were slightly bloodshot as he stuttered, Ning Yu, return, my. Plop. Before he could finish his sentence, Gui's body fell backward with a loud thud. Gui, you should feel honored to be killed by a Peak King rank flying sword. Chapter 628. Chapter 628. Secret Chamber. Gui was still alive, but he vomited another mouthful of blood when he heard Ning Yu's words. Gui stretched out his hand with great difficulty and pointed at Ning Yu. He wanted to say something, but before he could say anything, his eyes closed and he died on the spot. Bang! 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 With Gui dead, the combat strength of the 4 spectre corpses plummeted. The puppets seized the opportunity to push them back several meters. Ning Yu, there's something strange about this bloodthirsty sword. Evil Eye's voice rang in Ning Yu's ears. Ning Yu was slightly stunned when he heard Evil Eye's words. He immediately moved to Evil Eye's side. What's strange? Ning Yu frowned. Neither soul force nor yuan qi can enter the bloodthirsty sword, Evil Eye said honestly. Logically speaking, even if an ordinary inferior king rank flying sword can block soul force, it definitely can't block yuan qi. Now that this bloodthirsty sword can block both, there's an 80% chance that there's a treasure inside. There's a treasure? The Dark Emperor's eyes widened when he heard that there was a treasure inside the bloodthirsty sword. He immediately flew over. I'm a heaven-devouring dog. My perception is different from yours. Perhaps I can enter the bloodthirsty sword to check it out. The Dark Emperor didn't wait for Ning Yu's reply and immediately released his perception towards the bloodthirsty sword. In the beginning, the Dark Emperor was still very calm, wondering what treasure was inside the bloodthirsty sword. But as time went on, his expression became uglier and uglier. In the end he even cursed, "What the hell is this flying sword? Why can't my perception enter it? Let me give it a try." Seeing that the Dark Emperor had run into a wall, Hong Mo came out of the Red Demon's sword and turned into an afterimage, flying towards the bloodthirsty sword. Hong Mo, let me remind you that this bloodthirsty sword is very hard. Be careful of your head, scalp. The Dark Emperor curled his lips. Just as he was about to mock Hong Mo, his voice gradually weakened when he saw Hong Mo enter the bloodthirsty sword. Ning Yu is going to be rich this time. Not long after the Red Devil entered the bloodthirsty sword, he sent a shocking piece of good news to Ning Yu. There are 2 array formations in the bloodthirsty sword. One of them contains a large amount of soul force, while the other contains a large amount of yuan qi. Soul force? Yuan qi? Ning Yu was puzzled. If I'm not wrong, soul power is pure soul power, and essence energy is superior essence energy. It's even in the liquid state, said Red Fiend again. What? This time, Ning Yu was so surprised that he almost jumped up. Pure soul power was still alright. After all, it could only increase the strength of his soul power to the 6th grade. But liquid yuan qi could even increase his cultivation level to the pinnacle of the primal core stage. As the level of contact changed, Ning Yu's opponents also became stronger and stronger. Now, Ning Yu could faintly feel that the middle stage of the primal core stage was not enough. He had to quickly increase his cultivation to the pinnacle of the primal core stage, or even the yin-yang stage. Only then would he be able to face the pinnacle of the yin-yang stage in the future and not be at a disadvantage. How long will it take to break these 2 arrays? Ning Yu asked in a deep voice. The yuan qi array doesn't need to be broken at all because there is already a small hole in it. According to my observation, it should be Gue Yi who quietly opened it and didn't have the time to close it. Good. Draw out the yuan qi from the bloodthirsty sword. I want to cultivate. Also, go and control the puppets and ghost corpses. Let's get out of here quickly. There was less than half an hour before the experts from the corpse sect arrived. In other words, Ning Yu only had half an hour to reach the late stage of the primal core stage, or even the pinnacle of the primal core stage. The task was more difficult, and there was no time to waste. Dark Emperor, quickly clean up the battlefield with Evil Eye. We will leave in 1 minute. Although time was tight, Ning Yu still ordered in an orderly manner. Understood. The Dark Emperor was very sensible. He immediately cooperated with Evil Eye to clean up the battlefield and try to restore this area. A minute later, Ning Yu took the lead and rushed into the depths of the Zhang family's forbidden area at an extremely fast speed. As for the Dark Emperor and Evil Eye, they followed closely behind Ning Yu. Since Gue Yi had already been killed, Ning Yu and the others did not encounter any danger along the way. Not even a single array was triggered. After about 3 or 4 minutes, Ning Yu and the others stopped. There are 2 secret rooms here. The yuan qi on the left is 6 times stronger than the outside world, and the one on the right is 8 times stronger. Ning Yu pointed to the 2 secret rooms on the left and said in a deep voice, I will go to the 6 times secret room to cultivate alone. You guys go to the 8 times secret room to cultivate. No need, let's go to the 6 times secret room. The Dark Emperor waved his hand, then stomped on the ground and rushed into the secret room that was 6 times bigger. Seeing the Dark Emperor's actions, Evil Eye hurriedly followed behind the Dark Emperor into the 6 times secret room. Ningyu knew that the Dark Emperor and the others had good intentions, so he did not argue. He immediately rushed out in a flash and rushed into the 8 times secret room. Crash! The moment Ningyu entered the 8 times secret room, he could feel the extremely dense essence energy rushing towards him. This feeling was even more terrifying than when he was on the 10th floor of the Ivory Tower. Red Devil, use all your strength to draw out the liquid Yuan Qi. Ningyu took a deep breath and sat down cross-legged. As he channeled the spirit transformation art, he said to the Red Devil, "Buzz buzz." The Red Devil was already prepared. Hearing Ningyu's words, he immediately controlled the bloodthirsty sword, allowing the liquid Yuan Qi to gush out from the tip of the sword, causing it to float above Ningyu's head. Absorb! Ningyu bellowed, and an extremely powerful suction force was emitted from his body. This suction force was unusually violent. Other than the liquid Yuan Qi in the bloodthirsty sword, even the Yuan Qi in the secret room was sucked to the front of Ningyu. In the next moment, Ningyu opened his mouth and sucked the Yuan Qi into his stomach. Then, according to the guidance of the spirit transformation art, it slowly circulated around his body. After about 4 to 5 minutes, the pure Yuan Qi that had been filtered by the spirit transformation art entered Ningyu's mind. After the pure Yuan Qi entered Ningyu's mind, it was quickly snatched up by the 7 golden core cultivators. There's hope. At this speed, I can advance to the peak of the primal core stage in about half an hour. Ningyu was overjoyed and sped up the circulation of the spirit transformation art again. Swoosh! At the same time, in front of the main entrance of the Zhang family, 2 martial artists in black robes appeared out of thin air. Pan Zheng and Yuan Nan saw the 2 martial artists in black robes, and their eyes narrowed as they shouted. However, just as they spoke, their vision went black and they fainted. You guys wait here first. We'll gather all the powerful fighters from the Zhang family and then head to Panlong Ridge at full speed. One of the martial artists in black robes said coldly. His figure became illusory and disappeared in the blink of an eye. We've gone to a few families and only managed to gather 30 Yin-Yang realm martial artists. I hope the Zhang family won't let us down. Chapter 629. Ghost Hatchet Divine Scroll, Azura. Why didn't I feel the aura of a peak Yin-Yang realm cultivator in the Zhang family? Is the Zhang family's ancestor not in the Zhang family? After entering the Zhang family's courtyard, one of the black-robed martial artists frowned and said, "The Zhang family's ancestor is at the peak of Yin-Yang realm. He alone is equivalent to a dozen early and middle Yin-Yang realm martial artists. Gui Sha, this might be your first time coming to the Zhang family." The black-robed martial artist called Azura smiled and said, "The Zhang family is a first-class force. The structure of their forbidden area is very ingenious. Unless you are a half-step manifestation realm martial artist, you won't be able to explore the situation inside." So powerful? Gui Sha was surprised. Logically speaking, a family that could build such a forbidden area must have a manifestation realm martial artist. Could it be that the Zhang family has a manifestation realm martial artist? Thinking of this, Gui Sha's face became extremely solemn. He and Azura were only at the peak of Yin-Yang realm, which was still some distance away from the half-step manifestation realm. If they encountered a half-step manifestation realm martial artist now, they would only be dead. Don't worry, the Zhang family doesn't have a manifestation realm martial artist, Azura said lightly. It is said that the ancestor of the Zhang family had the ability of Ghost Hatchet Divine Scroll. The reason why the Corpse Insect took such a big risk to control the Zhang family was because we wanted to obtain the Ghost Hatchet Divine Scroll of the Zhang family's ancestor. Ghost Hatchet Divine Scroll. Gui Sha's position in the corpse insect seemed to be much lower than Azura's, so he didn't know any of these secrets. Let's not think about these things for now. What we need to do now is to find the Zhang family's ancestor as soon as possible and ask him to gather all the Yinyang realm martial artists in the Zhang family and go to the Coiling Dragon Ridge. Azura waved his hand and then quickly jumped. Soon, he appeared in front of the Zhang family's forbidden area. No one? Looking at the empty front door of the courtyard, Azura frowned and became more vigilant. This wasn't the first time he came to the Zhang family's forbidden area. In the past few times, there were Yinyang realm martial artists guarding the front door and inside the courtyard. Now there wasn't even a shadow, no wonder he was confused. Be careful, Shura reminded Gui Sha. Then he released his perception and approached the bronze stone gate where the forbidden area was located step by step. The bronze door has been opened. Looks like the Zhang family has encountered some unforeseen event. Azura took a deep breath. Although it wasn't his first time entering the Zhang family's forbidden area, he was still extremely careful. The design of the Zhang clan's forbidden ground was very ingenious, and there were many arrays and mechanisms. Even if he was at the pinnacle of Yinyang realm, he would still be in trouble if he came into contact with some hidden places. After all, this was a forbidden land that was opened up by the Ghost Hatchet Divine Scroll. Even a martial artist who was half a step into the blessed realm would not dare to cause too much trouble. After stepping on the other side of the bronze door, Azura carefully moved forward according to the previous route. While walking, Shura also exerted his perception to prevent possible dangers. Until they entered the depths of the Zhang family's forbidden area, Azura and the others did not encounter any danger. Although there was no danger, Shura still stopped because he saw two secret rooms. The yuan qi in these two secret rooms seems to be much denser than the outside world. Gui Sha released his perception and probed the outside of the secret room. After a while, Gui Sha retracted his perception and said, "The yuan qi in the secret room on the left is 6 times that of the outside world, and the one on the right is 8 times. Let's take a look." Azura pondered for a moment, pointed to the secret room that was 6 times and said, "Open the secret room first." "No problem." Gui Sha nodded and came to the door of the secret room that was 6 times. Swoosh. However, just when Gui Sha wanted to stretch out his hands to push the door of the secret room, a few figures suddenly rushed out of the secret room. "Who is it?" Looking at the figures that suddenly appeared, Gui Sha's heart tightened and he hurriedly retreated. However, when Gui Sha sensed the fluctuation of yuan qi contained in the figures, his face instantly became relaxed. A pinnacle late-stage Yinyang realm, a pinnacle middle-stage Yinyang realm, a black dog. No, it should be a heaven-devouring dog. Gui Sha's lips curled up and he said sinisterly, "You guys shouldn't be from the Zhang family. Tell me, why are you in the Zhang family's forbidden area?" "We are not from the Zhang family, and neither are the two of you." The Dark Emperor said coldly, "You guys can come in, why can't we?" You're still so stubborn even when you're about to die. Forget it, I'll teach you a lesson." Gui Sha smiled and rose from the ground, appearing beside the Dark Emperor in the blink of an eye. Bang! In the next moment, Gui Sha's fist brought with it a violent yuan qi wind and it landed right on the Dark Emperor's chest. A huge force came from his chest, causing the Dark Emperor's body to fall back, only coming to a stop when he crashed into the stone wall. Poochie! He spat out a mouthful of dark red blood and his aura became slightly weak. *CK. The Dark Emperor was so angry that his body was trembling. When he was fighting against Yen Fu and Zhang Shan, he was defeated in one move. Now, he was defeated in one move again. An underage heaven-devouring dog can actually cultivate to the early stage Yinyang realm. Not simple at all. Casually pushing the Dark Emperor back, Gui Sha said indifferently, "Speak, why did you come to the Zhang family's forbidden grounds? Also, Where are the Zhang family's ancestor and patriarch? Ningyu is on the verge of advancing, we must buy him enough time. The Dark Emperor was not a fool. Generally speaking, if he met two warriors at the peak of the Yin-Yang realm, Ningyu would definitely rush out immediately. Since Ningyu did not come out, it meant that Ningyu was at a critical juncture in his advancement, and could not split himself up. Thinking of this, the Dark Emperor said calmly, "We came to the Zhang family's forbidden grounds for two reasons." "Oh, tell me about it." The Azura raised his eyebrows and said, "Firstly, we are here to investigate the cause of Zhang Shan's death." The Dark Emperor began to brag. "Secondly, discuss with the Zhang family's patriarch about tomorrow's pill refining competition and see who the Zhang family will send to participate." Zhang Shan is dead? The Azura and Gui Sha were stunned at the same time. Zhang Shan was a warrior at the peak of the Yin-Yang realm, and most of the experts from Danwu College and the imperial family were in the Coiling Dragon Ridge. At this time, who else had the ability to kill Zhang Shan? That's right, about 3 to 4 hours ago. The Dark Emperor did not lie. In that case, your relationship with the Zhang family is not bad. The Azura pondered for a moment, then changed the topic and said coldly, "Why didn't you enter the 8 times secret room to cultivate, but instead entered the 6 times secret room?" Gui Sha. Without waiting for the Dark Emperor to reply, the Azura said in a deep voice, "Go to the 8 times secret room to take a look." Yes. Without any hesitation, Gui Sha immediately leaped up and rushed towards the 8 times secret room. Cold face, evil eye, attack. The sudden change caused the Dark Emperor's expression to change drastically. Ningyu was on the verge of advancing. No matter what, he could not let the two warriors at the peak of the Yin-Yang realm disturb Ningyu. Chapter 630. In time whoosh, whoosh. When Ling Mian and Evil Eye heard the Dark Emperor's anxious words, they did not hesitate at all. They immediately leaped up and stood in front of Gui Sha. "Humph! 2 pieces of trash want to stop me? Courting death." Gui Sha was not frightened by Ling Mian and Evil Eye. Instead, he coldly snorted and pushed his fists out, colliding with Ling Mian and Evil Eye's fists. Kacha! Kacha! A crisp sound rang out in front of the secret chamber. Ah! The immense pain coming from their wrists caused Ling Mian and Evil Eye to let out hysterical screams at the same time. Oh no, this Yin-Yang peak martial artist is much stronger than Zhang Shan. The Dark Emperor never expected Ling Mian and the others to be defeated so quickly. Originally, in his heart, no matter how bad the Cold Face and the Evil Eye were, they would be able to block Gui Sha for a minute or two. Now that they were defeated in the first exchange, it was far beyond his expectations. There should be someone in the 8x secret chamber. Gui Sha kicked Ling Mian and Evil Eye away. His lips curled up as he walked towards the 8 times secret chamber. It looked like Gui Sha was walking very slowly, but that was not the case. His body gradually became illusory, and in the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of the 8 times secret room. Roar! Just as Gui Sha was about to push open the door to the secret room, the Dark Emperor roared towards the sky, and his body instantly grew several times larger. At the same time, a pair of purplish-golden wings appeared on the Dark Emperor's back, and they quickly flapped, bringing him into the air. The Emperor of the Sky-Devouring Dog Clan. Purple-gold Sky-Devouring Hound. The sudden change caused Gui Sha and Xiao Luo's eyes to widen. Shock filled their faces. It had a pair of purple-gold wings on its back. It was the Emperor of the Heaven-Devouring Hound clan, the purple-gold Heaven-Devouring Hound. Gui Sha, leave this Heaven-Devouring Hound to me. You go open the 8 times secret chamber. Azura was indeed a martial artist at the peak of the Yin-Yang realm. He reacted quickly. After reacting, the Shura immediately ordered Gui Sha to open the 8 times secret room. He would personally capture the Dark Emperor. Understood. The corner of Gui Sha's lips curled up. He then extended his palm and attempted to push open the door to the secret room. Not good. As soon as Gui Sha's palm touched the stone door of the secret room, his expression changed and he immediately retreated. Rumble! A loud rumble resounded as a young cultivator slowly walked out from the chamber. This young martial artist first looked at Ling Mian and Evil Eye, who had weak auras, and then his gaze landed on the Dark Emperor. Feeling the Dark Emperor's slightly weak aura, the young martial artist's face instantly darkened, and he said coldly, "You hurt my brother, you too have to leave something behind." The young martial artist was none other than Ning Yu. Hearing Ning Yu's words, Azura and Ghostfiend were stunned on the spot. What was wrong with this world? The young martial artist in front of him didn't even seem to have reached the yin-yang stage. What right did a martial artist, who wasn't even in the yin-yang realm, have to talk to them like that? Don't tell me I don't have to pay taxes for acting tough now? What do you want us to leave behind? Azura crossed his arms and asked. If I'm not wrong, you two should be from the Corpse Insect. Ningyu pondered for a moment and then said, "It might be cruel to let you leave your hands and feet behind to deal with the cultivators of the Corpse Sect. Since that's the case, then leave your lives behind." Azura and Ghostfiend couldn't help but laugh out loud. The first sentence was that it was cruel to leave their hands and feet behind, and the second sentence was that they should leave their lives behind. Arrogant. The first impression that Ningyu gave Azura and the others was that he was too arrogant, even more arrogant than Gui from the Ghost Talent Temple. Gui had the qualifications to be arrogant. After all, he had many magic treasures and his strength wasn't weak. He could compete with a peak yin-yang realm martial artist. "Brat, you know we're from the Corpsine sect, but you still dare to be arrogant. I have to say, I admire you," Azura said gloomily. "In order to reward you, I've decided to refine you into a corpse." Before Azura could finish his sentence, a look of surprise appeared in his eyes. Walala! Azura discovered that the space around Ningyu suddenly cracked, and several figures appeared from the void. Gulp! Seeing the figures that suddenly appeared, even Azura, who had reached the peak yin-yang realm, couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Puppets! Ghost corpses! Moreover, the cultivation of these puppets and ghost corpses had reached the peak yin-yang realm. No wonder this young martial artist dared to be so arrogant. It turned out that he had such a trump card. 4 puppets at the peak yin-yang realm and 4 ghost corpses at the peak yin-yang realm. Such a lineup was enough to equalize the strength of the two sides. Their advantage was gone in an instant. Ningyu, you've advanced to the peak Yuan Dan realm? Azura and Ghostfiend ignored Ningyu's cultivation, but the Dark Emperor didn't. The Dark Emperor clearly remembered that when Ningyu entered the 8 times secret chamber, his cultivation was only at the middle stage of the Yuan Dan realm. Now, Ningyu's cultivation was completely beyond his imagination. Peak Yuan Dan realm. Moreover, as Ningyu stood there, his body seemed to fuse with the void. This state was clearly a sign that he was about to break through the peak Yuan Dan realm and advance to the yin-yang realm. I was just lucky. Ningyu nodded slightly at the Dark Emperor and said in a deep voice, "Bring Ling Mian and the rest to the 8 times secret chamber first. Leave the matters here to me." "Leave it to you? Can you handle it?" Hearing Ningyu's words, Azura snorted coldly and immediately dashed out. Under the Dark Emperor's horrified gaze, he punched at Ningyu's head. Azura's punch contained extremely violent yuan qi. If Ningyu was unlucky enough to be hit, he would at least be crippled. "Brat, today I'll let you know that there are some people you can never offend in your life." As he got closer to Ningyu, Azura said coldly, "Offending the corpse sect, you..." "What?" Suddenly, Azura's heart skipped a beat and he hurriedly retreated. After image. Azura was greatly shocked in his heart because even he hadn't noticed when Ningyu had vanished. He only knew that his fist passed through Ningyu's body without any warning. Red Devil, control the puppets and ghost corpses to fight against that peak yin-yang realm martial artist. Leave this to me. Ningyu appeared on the other side and casually threw the Red Devil sword. Whoosh! In the next moment, a red-clothed man flew out from the Red Devil sword and controlled the puppets and ghost corpses to attack Gui Sha. Gui Sha, hold on for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, I'll go help you. Azura turned around and glanced at Gui Sha. Then, the Yuan Qi in his body surged and a monstrous and violent Yuan Qi surged out from his body. Qi. This Yuan Qi was abnormally violent and even made sizzling sounds when it came into contact with the air. Feeling the Yuan Qi fluctuation from Azura's fist, Ningyu's heart sank to the bottom. Azura's strength was much stronger than Zhang Shan and Yen Fu. Chapter 631. Upper Hand, Shura Palm. Shura's eyes turned cold, and he struck out a shocking palm print. Reincarnation Palm. Ningyu took a deep breath, and the violent Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness surged out and gathered on his wrist. He struck out a powerful palm print. Crack! The moment the two palm prints came into contact with each other, they shattered in unison. Damn it! Azura cursed inwardly when he saw the palm print he had blasted out shattering, and then he blasted out several more shocking palm prints. Solitaire. Ningyu naturally did not wait for death. After advancing to the pinnacle of the primordial core realm, the Yuan Qi in his body had increased by several times. Solitaire, which was executed with the king-level inferior grade soul-chasing sword, was many times more powerful. Whoosh! Several sword waves shot out from the soul-chasing sword and collided head-on with Azura's palm print. This time, both sides were evenly matched again. The sword waves and palm prints dissipated at the same time. Ghost corpses attack from the front, puppets attack from the side. While Ningyu and Shura were fighting, the Red Fiend and Gui Sha were also fighting. However, the Red Fiend had the puppets and ghost corpses, so the pressure was much less. In fact, the Red Fiend had the king-level Red Fiend sword, and had the upper hand. Damn! Why is this early-stage yin-yang realm martial artist so powerful? Gui Sha was suffering in silence. He had to resist the attacks of the puppets and ghost corpses while being careful of the Red Fiend's sneak attack. Originally, Gui Sha thought that the Red Fiend was just a wax figure that looked good but was useless. However, after exchanging blows, he realized that he was wrong. Although the Red Fiend was only at the early stage yin-yang realm, his overall strength was much stronger than the early stage purple gold sky swallowing dog. Although the Red Fiend's sword played a part in this, it was undeniable that the Red Fiend was indeed very strong. The Sky Swallowing Dog clan, especially the purple gold Sky Swallowing Dog, was known to be invincible among those of the same level. The strength that the Red Fiend displayed was enough to kill a Sky-swallowing dog of the same level. Azura, I can't hold on any longer. Hurry up and get rid of that brat, then come and help me. Gui Sha was very rational. He knew that if this continued, he would not be able to hold on for long, so he sent a distress signal to Azura. Give me some more time. Azura shouted in a low voice after turning his head to look at Gui Sha's condition. Gui Sha's situation was not good, but he didn't know that Shura was also very irritated. Even though he was at the pinnacle of the yin-yang stage, he had not been able to take down Ningyu, who was at the pinnacle of the primal core stage. If word of this got out, how could he keep a foothold in the Corpsine sect? No matter what, Ningyu must die today. Thunder Palm. In the next moment, Shura's pupils turned dark green, and his figure instantly appeared beside Ningyu. Then, the Azura pushed out his right palm and smashed it towards Ningyu's head. Soul Attack Palm Technique. Ningyu's expression changed drastically when he felt the powerful soul pressure from the Azura's palm. Without much time to think, Ningyu immediately released his pinnacle rank 5 soul force and wrapped it around his wrist, ready to meet Shura's palm. Sun Jiangwen, transfer your pinnacle rank 7 soul force to me, quickly. When his palm was only 10 centimeters away from Shura's palm, Ningyu suddenly thought of something and hurriedly contacted Sun Jiangwen. From the soul pressure emitted from Shura's palm, Ningyu could tell that Shura's soul force had reached the advanced stage of rank 7. Sun Jiangwen's soul force was at the pinnacle of rank 7. With Sun Jiangwen's help, coupled with a professional soul attack like the Netherworld Samsara Palm, Ningyu was confident that he could severely injure Shura. "Ha ha, brat, you've been tricked. I'm not using an ordinary palm technique, but a soul attack palm technique." Seeing that Ningyu wanted to meet his palm without any intention of dodging, Azura faced the sky and laughed. "I'll tell you the truth. My spiritual force is at the late stage grade 7. You're destined to die if you meet my palm." Noisy. Ningyu could not be bothered with Shura. Instead, he transferred Sun Jiangwen's pinnacle rank 7 soul force into his palm, which inevitably collided with Shura's palm. When the two palms collided, Shura was a little stunned. Because what he expected did not happen. Ningyu was still standing in front of him, safe and sound, and even had a slight smile on his face. Surprised? Ningyu's lips curled up and he said calmly, "Not only do I know that you're using a soul attack, but I also know that your soul force has reached the advanced stage of rank 7. But what you don't know is that I'm also using a soul attack, and there's a pinnacle rank 7 soul force in my body." After Ningyu said this, Shura suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, and his body retreated. "Your soul attack magic technique is much weaker than mine." Ningyu did not follow up with another attack. Instead, he said, "If I'm not wrong, your 5 viscera and 6 bowels are currently being ravaged by a pinnacle rank 7 soul force. If you don't get treated in time, you might die here." "Even if I can't use my soul force, it's still very easy for me to kill you." Shura coldly snorted. "Sigh, you're still so stubborn even when you're about to die." Ningyu sighed and slowly said, "If you didn't try to be smart and use a soul attack, I wouldn't have been able to kill you. But you're too stupid to think that you can defeat me with a soul attack. Come out, Sun Jiangwen." Swish. As soon as Ningyu finished speaking, a figure flew out from the storage ring on his wrist. "You're Sun Jiangwen from the Alchemist Hall." When Shura first saw Sun Jiangwen, he felt that he had seen him somewhere before, and hurriedly searched through his memories. Soon, Shura knew the true identity of the martial artist in front of him. An alchemist second only to the Alchemist Hall master, Sun Jiangwen. "That's right, he's Sun Jiangwen from the Alchemist Hall." Ningyu nodded and said with a smile, "In addition to him, the Alchemist Hall master is also in my hands. Oh, by the way, the deaths of the other sub-hall masters are also related to me." When Shura heard the first part of Ningyu's sentence, he didn't think much of it, but when he heard the second part of Ningyu's sentence, he was so angry that he spat out another mouthful of blood. He could never have imagined that the culprit behind the war between the Corpse Sect, the Imperial Family, and Danwu College at the Panlong Ridge was this peak primal core martial artist in front of him. The reason why the Corpse Sect started a war with the Imperial Family was mainly because they wanted to investigate the deaths of the sub-hall masters. Now, this peak primal core martial artist in front of him actually said that this shocking tragedy of the Corpse Sect was related to him. How could Shura not be surprised? Good chance. Shura was already in deep trouble, and now that he spat out another mouthful of blood, his aura directly dropped to the freezing point. Ningyu naturally seized this opportunity. Holding the soul-chasing sword, he wrapped the blue spiritual fire around the sword and fiercely stabbed at Shura's heart. "Damn it, Gui Sha!" Looking at the approaching Ningyu and the flying sword, Shura cursed and shouted, "Quickly get the Yinyang martial artist in front of the Zhang family's gate to come here." Understood. Chapter 632. A Helping Hand. There are more than 30 Yinyang realm martial artists in front of the Zhang family's gate. When they come, all of you will be Azura. After crushing the crystal ball, Gui Sha said some harsh words. However, before he could finish his words, his eyes widened and his eyeballs almost fell out of their socket. Miserable shrieks that sounded like pigs being slaughtered resounded in the area. In an instant, time seemed to have stopped. Even the air was filled with an unbelievable aura. Shura's palm touched his heart, then he looked up at Ningyu. He opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something, but before he could say a word, his body fell forward. Bang! The sound of flesh hitting the ground rang out. It was so clear, so terrifying. At this moment, Gui Sha was stunned on the spot. Dead. Azura, who was at the peak of the yin-yang realm, was dead. This was something that Gui Sha couldn't have imagined. If he hadn't determined Ningyu's true age, Gui Sha would have suspected that Ningyu was an old monster who had used a disguise technique, pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. Gulp. After a while, Gui Sha swallowed a mouthful of saliva. The fear on his face was revealed without any attempt to hide it. Hong Mo, do it! Ningyu didn't care about Gui Sha's expression. There was only one thought in his mind, and that was to kill Gui Sha as soon as possible. What Gui Sha said just now was still fresh in Ningyu's memory. There were more than 30 yin-yang realm martial artists in front of the Zhang family's gate. If they couldn't kill Gui Sha as soon as possible, they would all die when the 30 yin-yang realm martial artists arrived. The most important thing now was to kill Gui Sha as soon as possible and then use the natural barrier of the Zhang family's forbidden area to deal with the 30 yin-yang realm martial artists. It's not that easy to kill me. Gui Sha was indeed a peak yin-yang realm martial artist of the Corpse Yin sect. The 30 yin-yang realm martial artists in front of the Zhang family's gate will only need a minute to get here. I don't believe that you can kill me within a minute. Gui Sha knew very well that with the speed of a yin-yang realm martial artist, they would arrive very quickly. In other words, as long as he persisted for a minute, he would have the absolute advantage when the yin-yang realm martial artists arrive. At that time, not only would he be able to kill the martial artist in front of him, but he would also be able to obtain the 4 puppets and 4 specter corpses. Puppets and spectral corpses were no less useful than Azuras in the battle at Coiling Dragon Ridge. Some things, it's not about whether you believe it or not, but it's already destined, Ningyu said coldly. Ha ha, I, Gui Sha, do not believe in fate. Gui Sha laughed heartily. Soon after, he changed the topic and said, although I cannot contend against you in terms of pure strength, it will be very difficult for you to stop me if I want to leave. Really? Ningyu raised his eyebrows and said calmly, you can try. I'll give it a try. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Gui Sha snorted coldly. Then, he tore open the void with both hands and dived in. Bang! Bang! However, not long after Gui Sha dived into the void, he was blasted out of the void by 2 powerful attacks. I've said it before. You can't escape. Ningyu said indifferently, if you had stayed and fought, you might have been able to last for a minute. But your mistake was trying to escape. Unfortunately, I already know where you are in the void, so you can't escape. Impossible. How can you know where I am in the void? Gui Sha shouted. Of course, Ningyu knows where you are in the void. Just then, the Dark Emperor walked out of the secret room slowly and said, because I told him. The sky-swallowing dog race is extremely sensitive to the fluctuation of space. I can pinpoint your location to an extremely small area. There's still 30 seconds. Hong Mo attacked together. Ningyu twisted his neck and charged towards Gui Sha. Seeing Ningyu attack, Hong Mo didn't stay idle. He held the Red Fiend's sword and followed closely behind. As for the puppets and specter corpses, they naturally joined the battlefield and constantly pressured Gui Sha. Although Gui Sha's cultivation was also at the peak of the yin-yang realm, his strength was much weaker than Azura. Moreover, he was blasted out of the void by the specter corpses while he was escaping. Therefore, Ningyu alone could fight against him. With the addition of Hong Mo and the puppets, they naturally defeated Gui Sha easily. Pooh! At this juncture, Ningyu definitely wouldn't leave him alive. However, Ningyu didn't do it himself. Instead, he left this opportunity to Hong Mo. To be precise, he left it to the Red Fiend's sword. The Red Fiend's sword was now at the peak of the King's stage. He didn't know when it would advance again. Ningyu had to do everything he could to fight for more energy for the Red Fiend's sword. The sound of a flying sword piercing a heart was heard. Until his death, Gui Sha still couldn't understand how he and Azura could both die here with their strength. Gui Sha might only be able to understand this question in his next life. There are still 10 seconds before those 30 Yin-Yang Realm martial artists will arrive at the Zhang clan's forbidden area. It's too late to block the entrance now. Let's go in. Ningyu didn't waste any time here. Instead, he said in a deep voice, Dark Emperor, enter the storage ring with Ling Mian and the rest. I'll lead the way with Hong Mo. The Dark Emperor, Ling Mian, and the rest were severely injured. If they were to follow by his side, it would be very troublesome if they encountered danger. Therefore, Ningyu decided that he and Hong Mo would lead the puppets and specter corpses to lead the way while the Dark Emperor, Ling Mian, and the rest entered the storage ring to recuperate. Swoosh! The Dark Emperor didn't argue and immediately carried Azura and Gui Sha's corpses into the storage ring. The Dark Emperor's actions made Ningyu speechless. At this point, his principle of not wasting was still playing tricks on him. Let's go! Ningyu didn't lower himself to the Dark Emperor's level. After Ling Mian, Sun Jiangwen, and the rest entered the storage ring, he immediately leaped up and rushed towards the depths of the Zhang clan's forbidden area. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh! At the same time, at the entrance of the Zhang clan's forbidden area, more than 30 Yin-Yang Realm martial artists appeared. Most of these martial artists were at the early stage Yin-Yang Realm and middle stage Yin-Yang Realm, but there were 2 late-stage Yin-Yang Realm martial artists. This is the Zhang clan's forbidden area. It's said that it can trap half-step creation realm martial artists to death. Are we going in or not? Standing in front of the bronze door, an early-stage Yin-Yang Realm martial artist said hesitantly, Azura and Gui Sha are both peak Yin-Yang Realm martial artists. If they feel that it's troublesome, we will only be cannon fodder if we go. So what if we don't go? Hearing the early-stage Yin-Yang Realm martial artist's words, one of the late-stage Yin-Yang Realm martial artists said, rather than dying in the coiling Dragon Ridge, it's better to die in the Zhang clan's forbidden area. Chapter 633. Mincing Ningyu had no idea what had happened in front of the Bronze Gate. After leaving the battlefield, he headed towards the depths of the Zhang family's forbidden ground without stopping. At first, he was very fast. However, as he went deeper, his speed became slower and slower. In the end, he could only move forward on foot. Even though he could only move forward on foot, Ningyu did not give up and continued to move forward step by step. About a quarter of an hour later, Ningyu suddenly stopped. The reason why he stopped was that there were 2 forks in front of him. The fork on the left was smaller and could only accommodate 1 person. The fork on the right was bigger and could accommodate 5 to 6 people. Which way? Hong Mo frowned and asked. Send 2 puppets into the fork. We'll wait here for the time being. Ningyu pondered for a moment and said, We can't determine which fork is safe now, so we can only rely on this method. Understood. The Red Devil responded and controlled the 2 puppets to enter the fork in the road. How is it? Ningyu could not help but ask 3 minutes later. We haven't reached the end yet. The 2 passages are like bottomless pits. It's not good. Hong Mo's expression changed drastically as he spat out a mouthful of blood. What happened? Ningyu helped Hong Mo up and released his soul power at the same time to check on Hong Mo's injuries. It's not a big deal. The puppets in the right passage encountered an extremely powerful array and were minced into pieces. Hong Mo wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and said in a deep voice, As for the puppets in the left passage, they are safe and sound. They're still moving forward. Puss. Although the Red Fiend said it casually, Ningyu still gasped. The puppets were made of materials comparable to martial artists at the peak of Yin-Yang realm. How could they be minced into pieces by the array? From this, it could be seen that the power of the array was terrifying. Even a half-step to manifestation realm martial artist might not be able to withstand it. Enter the left passage. The puppets have already passed through. There's no danger. At that moment, Red Fiend said. Hearing the Hong Mo's words, Ningyu did not hesitate. He immediately leaped up and rushed into the tunnel on the left. The Red Fiend also stood up from the ground and followed closely behind Ningyu into the tunnel on the left. Buzz. Not long after Ningyu and the Red Devil disappeared, 30 warriors appeared in the area. There are 2 passages here. Which one should we take? Asked an early-stage Yin-Yang realm martial artist among the 30-odd martial artists. I'll lead a dozen people to the left. Han Ku will lead the rest to the right. One of the late Yin-Yang realm warriors released his perception and entered the 2 tunnels. After a while, he said, "Be careful. We'll keep in touch. Han Yong, you should be careful as well. I have a feeling that there's something unusual about the Zhang clan's forbidden grounds." The late-stage Yin-Yang realm martial artist called Han Ku nodded and leaped into the right passage. Behind him, more than a dozen Yin-Yang realm martial artists followed him into the tunnel without much hesitation. "Let's go too." Han Yong took a deep breath and took the lead to enter the passageway on the left. The rest of the Yin-Yang realm martial artists followed behind him. Swish. In the tunnel on the right. As Han Ku and the rest went deeper, the temperature in the tunnel dropped. After about 3 minutes, the temperature dropped to the freezing point. "Han Ku, let's go back and meet up with Han Yong. This tunnel is too strange." Although the martial artists in the tunnel were all Yin-Yang realm, they were still not used to the sudden drop in temperature. At this moment, there were even some martial artists who wanted to retreat in their hearts. They had received Gui Sha's order to enter the Zhang clan's forbidden grounds, but ever since they entered the forbidden grounds, they had not received any news from Gui Sha. Even if they backed out now, it would make sense. Han Ku thought for a second and then made a decision that he would regret very much later. Continue forward. If we can't reach the end of the tunnel in 3 minutes, we'll go back. After making this decision, Han Ku wrapped his body with Yuan Qi and slowly moved forward. Swish, swish, swish. Han Ku had just walked a few steps when his eyes revealed an extremely horrified expression. He saw the space in front of him suddenly split open, and several ice arrows shot out, attacking him at an extremely shocking speed. "Everyone, quickly release your Yuan Qi and form a Yuan Qi protective barrier." The overwhelming ice arrows caused Han Ku's scalp to go numb as he shouted hurriedly. Buzz. Actually, there was no need for Han Ku's reminder. The many martial artists behind him had already released their Yuan Qi and formed a Yuan Qi protective barrier around them. Crack, crack. However, these martial artists' Yuan Qi protective barriers did not have much effect. The ice arrows seemed to have a very strong corrosive effect, instantly shattering the Yuan Qi protective barriers around these martial artists. Then, the ice arrows turned into droplets of water and dripped on everyone's body. My eyes. My hand, my hand. My head. Compared to the screams of the crowd, Han Ku was slightly better. After all, he was a late-stage Yin-Yang realm martial artist. Quickly inform Han Yong. Han Ku hurriedly took out a crystal ball from his bosom, whispered a few words to it, and was about to crush it. Swish. However, before Han Ku could crush the crystal ball, his eyes widened, and his face was filled with disbelief. He looked down at the ice arrow that had pierced his heart unknowingly, then looked at the crystal ball in his hand. He opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but his body fell backward with a thud. At the same time, at the end of the left tunnel, two martial artists looked at the suddenly opened space in front of them and let out a long breath. Right in front of these two martial artists, there was a puppet slowly opening up a path. That's right, these two martial artists were Ning Yu and Hong Mo. After a period of walking, they finally left the left tunnel. F***CK. However, after taking a few steps in the wide space, Ning Yu cursed. Ning Yu even cursed all the ancestors of the Zhang family because he saw another two crossroads in front of him. Unlike the previous time, the crossroads this time were of the same size. Send two more puppets to scout the way. Ning Yu gritted his teeth. Ning Yu was very frustrated. If this crossroad was the same as the previous one, he would lose another puppet. Puppets were high-end combat power. Losing one made Ning Yu's heart bleed. However, he had no choice in the current situation. He could only bite the bullet and send the puppets into the crossroad. After the battle just now, the essence energy in his sea of consciousness had been depleted, leaving only a little. Although Hong Mo was in a better state than him, his combat power had been reduced by more than half, and he was in urgent need of recuperation. If it was just recuperation, Ning Yu wouldn't be in a hurry. The key was that there were no more transcendent grade essence crystals in the storage ring. The transcendent grade essence crystals in the storage ring were all used to control the puppet. If they wanted to recover to their peak state, they needed a large amount of essence energy. Although it was an unknown area ahead, it was much better than staying behind to face more than 30 Yin-Yang realm martial artists. Now, he was left with 3 puppets and 4 specter corpses. However, these puppets and specter corpses' combat power had dropped to the early stage Yin-Yang realm due to the lack of essence crystals. In fact, it was still dropping rapidly. The urgent matter now was to find a place with rich essence energy as soon as possible. Ning Yu, the essence energy here is richer. Hurry and use this period of time to recover. Chapter 634. Crystal Dorning Yu knew that time was precious. The more primordial qi he recovered, the more life-saving measures he would have when he encountered danger. Therefore, he immediately sat down cross-legged and began to absorb the primordial qi around him. While Ning Yu was recovering, the puppet had already entered the tunnel. About 3 minutes later, Hong Mo's expression changed, and he suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. "What's going on?" Ning Yu stood up from the ground and asked hurriedly. "There's an extremely powerful formation in the tunnel on the right." The puppet was crushed again before it reached the end. Hong Mo wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and said in a deep voice, "The puppet in the tunnel on the left has not encountered any danger yet. It doesn't make sense that both tunnels are dangerous. Let's go to the left." Ning Yu pondered for a moment, then gritted his teeth and said, "Send out the last puppet and let it lead the way for us." Although there was a puppet in the tunnel on the left, Ning Yu was still worried. He could not care so much now. Losing the puppet was much better than losing his life. "Go!" Hearing Ning Yu's order, Hong Mo shouted and controlled the last puppet to enter the tunnel on the left. "Let's go too." Ning Yu looked back at the tunnel on the other side, then rose from the ground and followed closely behind the puppet. Swoosh! Swoosh! In the tunnel that was not too spacious, 2 figures, one in front and one behind, were advancing rapidly. These 2 figures were Ning Yu and Hong Mo. At first, they were very slow, afraid that they would encounter danger. However, as time passed, their speed became faster and faster. In the end, they were even advancing at full speed. This kind of full-speed running did not last long, and Ning Yu's expression changed slightly. Suddenly, a golden stone door that was almost solid appeared in front of him. Looking at the half-closed golden stone door and the 2 puppets in front of it, Ning Yu was slightly shocked. The stone door was open, which meant that someone had already entered. "Since we're already here, we have to go in no matter what." Ning Yu's expression was gloomy. After hesitating for a moment, he nodded at the Red Devil and finally made up his mind to barge in. Xiao! As Ning Yu and the Red Devil entered the golden stone door, A scorching light wave suddenly swept towards them. Ning Yu's eyes narrowed slightly as he casually scattered the light waves. When the light waves dissipated, a golden hall appeared before their eyes. The hall was not as crowded as Ning Yu had imagined. Instead, it was empty and there were very few decorations. Ning Yu looked around the hall and finally fixed his eyes on a secret room at the end of the hall. More precisely, it was the crystal door that attracted Ning Yu's attention. Supreme Origin Crystal? It was called a crystal door, but it wasn't. Ning Yu could clearly feel that the crystal door was made of supreme-grade essence crystals, and it was emitting thick essence chi to the outside. Red Devil, leave a puppet to guard the entrance of the hall. If it really doesn't work, we can abandon them. Ning Yu's expression was solemn as he pointed to the crystal door. Let the other puppet open that crystal door. The Red Devil did not hesitate and immediately controlled a puppet to guard the entrance of the hall while controlling the other puppet to walk towards the crystal door. Before long, the puppet arrived at the crystal door. Creak! As the puppet exerted some strength in its hands, the crystal door made of supreme origin crystals was slowly pushed open. Swoosh! The moment the crystal door was pushed open, an extremely thick wave of yuan qi emanated from within. This is too exaggerated, right? Sensing the fluctuation of yuan qi emanating from the secret room, Ning Yu's mouth was agape as he stood rooted to the ground. 16 times. Based on his intuition, Ning Yu could sense that the yuan qi in the secret room was at least 16 times that of the outside world. 16 times the yuan qi density, and the quality of the yuan qi was extremely high. One could imagine that cultivating inside would definitely yield twice the results with half the effort. Even though he was excited, Ning Yu did not lose his rationality. Instead, he split out a portion of his soul force and entered the secret room to investigate. To the secret room. A moment later, Ning Yu retracted his soul force and stomped on the ground, heading towards the secret room rapidly. Initially, the Red Devil wanted to say something, but when he saw Ning Yu's actions, he could only follow behind and enter the secret room as well. Buzz. The moment Ning Yu entered the secret room, his first thought was that he had struck gold. The yuan qi in the secret room was extremely dense. Even though the quality of the yuan qi wasn't at the liquid state, it wasn't too far off. With this yuan qi, Ning Yu was confident that he could recover to his peak state within dozens of minutes. In fact, he might even have the chance to improve further and charge for the Yin-Yang realm. Oh no, there are 7 to 8 Yin-Yang realm martial artists coming here. I'll stop them. You recover quickly. Before Ning Yu could circulate the spirit transformation art to absorb the yuan qi, the Red Devil's expression changed drastically and he rushed out immediately. 10 minutes, you only have 10 minutes. The Red Devil left the secret room, but his words kept ringing in Ning Yu's mind. Ning Yu took a deep breath when he heard this, and then he circulated the spirit form technique with all his might and started to absorb the vast energy within the room. At the same time, 7 to 8 martial artists appeared in front of the golden stone door. The cultivation of these martial artists was relatively average. There was 1 late-stage Yin-Yang realm and 7 mid-stage Yin-Yang realm. The late-stage Yin-Yang realm martial artist's expression was extremely gloomy. At this moment the air seemed to have frozen, and it was terrifyingly quiet. Han Yong, do you think Han Ku and the rest are in danger? After a while, a mid-stage Yin-Yang realm martial artist broke the silence and asked, We encountered a total of 4 forks. Don't let your imagination run wild. Since we're fine, it means that Han Ku and the rest are fine too. Han Yong waved his hand and interrupted the mid-stage Yin-Yang realm martial artist. Although Han Yong said that, he did not think so in his heart. This was the Zhang family's forbidden land, and there was a strange aura everywhere. The slightest carelessness could lead to death. Forget it. Let's go in first. After pondering for a moment, Han Yong said to the 2 mid-stage Yin-Yang realm martial artists, The 2 of you go to the other side of the stone door to scout. Inform me immediately if there's any danger. Understood. The two mid-stage Yin-Yang realm martial artists dared not say anything even though they were angry. They could only enter the golden stone door obediently. Swoosh, swoosh. The moment they stepped into the golden stone door, the two mid-stage Yin-Yang realm martial artists retreated. At the same time, their faces revealed deep panic as they spoke in unison. There's a red-clothed man, 2 puppets, and 4 specter corpses inside. Hearing the two middle-stage Yin-Yang realm martial artists' words, Han Yong's expression changed slightly, and he shouted in a deep voice, "What cultivation?" "The red-clothed man is early-stage Yin-Yang realm," one of the martial artists said. Huff! Hearing that, Han Yong heaved a long sigh, and his taut nerves instantly relaxed. But when he heard the other martial artist's words, his nerves tensed up once more. Chapter 635. Monster, I don't know the exact cultivation of the puppets and ghostly corpses, but I can sense a trace of peak Yin-Yang realm aura from them. When the middle stage Yin-Yang realm martialist's words rang out in the area, Han Yong's face was filled with shock. Puppets and ghost corpses at the peak of Yin-Yang realm? If that was the case, then why the hell would they go? They would be courting death even if they went in. Although they had the advantage in numbers, their cultivations were not too high. The other 7 martial artists were only at the middle stage of the Yin-Yang realm. His cultivation was slightly higher, but he was only at the late stage of the Yin-Yang realm. With their combat strength, even if they encountered a peak Yin-Yang realm specter corpse, there was only death awaiting them. Could it be that the man in red is from the Zhang family? Suddenly, Han Yong seemed to have thought of something, his nervous expression easing up slightly. This was the forbidden area of the Zhang family, so the red-robed man on the other side of the golden stone door was most likely someone from the Zhang family. Thinking up to here, Han Yong said to the cultivator beside him, "Go talk to that red-clothed man and do your best to probe out his true identity." The mouths of the cultivators beside Han Yong gaped, and their faces were filled with bewilderment. If Chen Qing were to use a sentence to describe what he was feeling at this moment, it would be, "Why did I have to be the one who got hurt?" Chen Qing had no choice but to bite the bullet and enter the golden stone door. There are still 9 minutes left of the 10 minutes we agreed on with Ningyu. Seeing a middle-stage Yin-Yang realm martial artist enter the stone door, Hong Mo's expression was as calm as an ancient well. He said in a deep voice, "Who dares to trespass into the Zhang family's forbidden grounds? Leave now and I can spare your life." As he spoke, the Red Fiend used the Red Fiend's sword to quietly emit a pinnacle Yin-Yang realm aura. "Senior, we didn't mean to offend you." Sensing the aura of the peak of the Yin-Yang stage emitting from the body of the Red Devil, Chen Qing quickly said, "We are here to look for Xiao." At this point, Chen Qing chose to stop. "No, we can't expose Shura and Sha Sha. Since Shura Sha Sha sent us a distress signal, it means that he is in danger in the forbidden area." Chen Qing rolled his eyes and changed his words. "The main reason we are here is to look for the Zhang family patriarch." "Humph. I'll give you one last chance. Leave with the 7 martial artists outside as soon as possible. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." Hong Mo snorted coldly and controlled the puppet to approach Chen Qing step by step. Yes, I will leave now." As he was afraid that the red-robed man would attack him, Chen Qing did not dare to use his perception to probe the puppet. He could only leave in a sorry state. After Chen Qing left, the Red Fiend looked back at the crystal door and muttered, "I don't know how long I can deceive them. I can only take one step at a time." Chen Qing naturally did not know what the Red Fiend was thinking. He just walked out of the golden stone door when Han Yong's voice resounded out by his ear, and it even carried a slight tone of reproach. "You came out so quickly. Do you know the real identity of the red-robed man?" No, my ass." Chen Qing grumbled in his heart, but he said, "He is from the Zhang family, and his cultivation should be at the peak of the Inyang realm. Peak of Inyang realm? Han Yong raised his eyebrows and shifted his gaze to the two martial artists who entered the stone door for the first time. Han Yong, the red-robed man, really only had the aura of the early-stage Inyang realm. The two martial artists said at the same time, "Chen Qing might have seen wrongly and didn't see clearly." "Who are you calling wrongly?" Chen Qing was originally very displeased. When he heard the two martial artists' mockery, he said angrily, "It was obviously the two of you. Enough, let's not stay here. Let's go back the way we came." Han Yong was a little annoyed and berated. "Retreat to the first fork and find Han Ku and the rest." Inside the golden stone door, feeling the aura of Han Yong and the rest gradually getting further away, the Red Fiend heaved a sigh of relief. If the 8 martial artists outside barged in together, it would indeed be difficult for him to stop them. "There are still 7 to 8 minutes left. I hope, Ning, you can hurry." "Oh no." Before the Red Fiend could finish his sentence, his expression changed drastically. He quickly controlled the puppet and the specter corpse to block in front of him. At the same time, he held the Red Fiend's sword in his hand and stared at the golden stone door. Creak! The next moment, the golden stone door was pushed open from the outside. Then, a group of 8 martial artists walked in side by side. The Red Fiend gripped the Red Fiend's sword tightly and said in a cold voice, "You guys actually dare to trespass the Zhang family's forbidden area. Are you tired of living? Hand over Azura and Ghost Fiend, and we can spare your life," Han Yong said sinisterly. Han Yong was not someone Chen Qing could compare to. His cultivation was at the late-stage Inyang realm and was abnormally sensitive to auras. He did not sense the slightest peak Inyang realm aura from the red-clothed man. Instead, he sensed a trace of terrifying aura from the red flying sword in the red-clothed man's hand. King-tier flying sword. And the quality is very high. Han Yong almost instantly determined that the flying sword in the Red Fiend's hand was not simple. The quality was at least king-tier. "I completely don't know what you are talking about. Azura Ghost Fiend?" The Red Fiend knew that his mission was to stall for time and wait for Ningyu to recover to his peak state. Since the martial artists in front of him did not attack immediately, he would not expose his true strength either. "Haha, you still dare to be stubborn when death is at hand." Han Yong smiled faintly and immediately said to the many martial artists beside him, "All of you, go up and take him down. If I didn't guess wrongly, as long as we take him down, we can find Azura and Ghost Fiend." Han Yong's first sentence did not arouse the many martial artists' impulses, but his second sentence made everyone excited. Finding Azura and Ghost Fiend meant that they could extend their lives and not die without knowing why. After all, they were poisoned, and the antidote was on Azura and Ghost Fiend. Crack! Before the 7 middle stage Yin-Yang realm martial artists could attack, the wall on the other side suddenly cracked. Crack! 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 Furthermore, the speed at which the wall cracked became faster and faster. In the end, even the entire wall shattered. Swoosh! Within a minute after the wall cracked, this area was abnormally quiet. A minute later, a huge figure dashed out from behind the cracked wall. This huge figure was extremely fast and arrived in front of Chen Qing in the blink of an eye. Damn it! The sudden change caused Chen Qing's expression to change drastically. He cursed in his heart and immediately retreated. Chen Qing's retreating speed was clearly slower by half a beat. The huge figure's fist brought along a violent gale as it ruthlessly smashed into Chen Qing's chest. Boom! The force that came from his chest caused Chen Qing to spit out a mouthful of blood as his body fell backward. Swish! The huge figure clearly did not want to let Chen Qing off. His hands tore through the void and entered. When it appeared for the second time, the huge figure was already beside Chen Qing. Chapter 636. Giant Golem Crack. Poochie. 2 crisp sounds rang out in the area. Upon hearing these two voices, everyone, including Han Yong's group, and even Hong Mo, revealed horrified expressions. This was just 2F** King terrifying. A martial artist at the intermediate stage of Yin Yang realm died just like that? And it was a thorough death. Run! Almost at the same time, Han Yong and the remaining 6 intermediate Yin Yang stage martialists had the same thought. And they did as they were told. Bang! However, before they could reach the golden stone door, the golden stone door slammed shut right before their eyes. Hiss! This change caused Hong Mo to involuntarily suck in a mouthful of cold air. It was not the closing of the golden stone door that shocked Hong Mo. What shocked him was the true identity of the huge figure. Puppets. The giant figure was also a puppet. The only difference was that this puppet's cultivation was not at the Yin-Yang realm, but a shocking half-step to the manifestation realm. A puppet at the peak of the Yin-Yang realm was already very powerful. One could imagine how powerful a puppet at the half-step manifestation realm would be. Inside the Great Hall, Han Yong and 6 middle-stage Yin-Yang realm martial artists were huddled together, their expressions extremely gloomy. On the other side were the Red Fiend, 2 small puppets, and 4 specter corpses. In the middle was a giant puppet that was half a step into the manifestation realm. Why is there a half-step manifestation realm puppet in the Zhang family's forbidden grounds? Han Yong's expression was gloomy and indeterminate. No matter what, he could not understand why the Zhang clan would possess a half-step creation realm puppet. Although in terms of combat power, a half-step manifestation realm puppet might not be a match for a half-step manifestation realm warrior, the puppet's advantage was that it could withstand attack. Furthermore, as long as it had origin crystals, it could continuously attack. However, the origin crystals required for a half-step manifestation realm puppet were not ordinary origin crystals. They had to be at least royal grade. In fact, some half-step manifestation realm puppets could only be activated with royal-grade origin crystals. Roar! At that moment, the half-step manifestation realm puppet roared at the sky and charged at the Red Fiend. Puppets go! Looking at the behemoth approaching him, the Red Demon's expression changed drastically. He hurriedly controlled 2 small puppets to block in front of him. Crack! Crack! The 2 small puppets controlled by the Red Devil did not even last for a second before they were torn in half by the puppets that were half a step into the blessed realm. F***ck. The Red Devil did not doubt that the small puppet would be defeated, but he did not expect it to be defeated so quickly and so thoroughly. Not only was he defeated, he was even torn into 2 halves. It was truly cruel. Ghost corpse. The Red Fiend did not think too much about it. He immediately controlled the ghost corpse to stand in front of him, hoping to block the attack of the half-step manifestation realm puppet. The half-step manifestation realm puppet threw out 4 punches in a row. Each punch carried a powerful wave of primordial chi. Bang! 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 For muffled sounds resounded as the 4 specter corpses were like kites with their strings broken as they flew into the distance. The ghost corpse was already a person who had died once. Now that it was hit by a puppet that was half a step into blessed realm, its aura instantly dropped to freezing point. It was its second death. Gulp. Seeing that the puppet and specter corpse in front of the Red Devil had both been defeated, Han Yong and the rest swallowed a mouthful of saliva as an extremely terrified expression appeared on their faces. Monster, it was definitely a monster. What should they do when they encountered such a monster? Everyone, don't panic. Hold on. In my opinion, this half-step manifestation realm puppet does not have much primordial chi left in its body. As long as we can hold on for a few more minutes, we will definitely survive. Han Yong clenched his fists tightly and said in a deep voice, "Split up and run. Try to buy as much time as possible." Buzz buzz. Han Yong was very quick-witted. After he said that, his body immediately became illusory and merged with the void. Hide in the void. Yes, yes, hide in the void. There is still a chance of survival. Let's hope that the half-step manifestation realm puppet can't find our location. Seeing Han Yong's actions, the remaining 6 yin-yang stage intermediate stage martial artists seemed to have found a hope of survival. Without even a second of hesitation, they immediately tore open the void in front of them and entered. Roar! Han Yong and the rest seemed to have angered the half-step manifestation realm puppet by merging with the void. He temporarily gave up on the Red Fiend, and a pair of frightening eyes scanned the hall. After a while, the half-step manifestation realm puppet revealed a human-like smile. Then, it rose from the ground and dashed toward the west side of the hall. Boom! Then, the half-step manifestation realm puppet threw a punch. Wherever the fist passed, the surrounding space seemed to be torn apart. Immediately after, a scream that sounded like a pig being slaughtered rang in the hall. After the scream, a yin-yang stage intermediate stage martial artist appeared in the void. Crack! The yin-yang stage intermediate stage martial artist's pupils shrank the moment he appeared, and he wanted to retreat. How could a martial artist in the middle stage of the yin-yang realm escape from a puppet that was half a step into the manifestation realm? In the next moment, the half-step manifestation realm puppet's fist entered the yin-yang stage intermediate stage martial artist's body and extended out from his back. Bang! It casually tossed the middle stage yin-yang realm martial artist, who could not be more dead, to the side, and the half-step blessed realm puppet rushed to the other side. Following that, the same scene played out continuously in the hall. Within a short minute, all the yin-yang stage intermediate stage martial artists in the hall were killed, and only Han Yong, who was at the late stage yin-yang stage, was left. Han Yong's situation was not much better because he had already been targeted by the half-step manifestation realm puppet. Swoosh! Han Yong was rather quick-witted. He knew that he would definitely be killed if he continued, so his figure gradually appeared. However, the place where Han Yong appeared was beside the Red Fiend. "Friend, you have to help me. Otherwise, everyone will die." Han Yong's first sentence after appearing was directed at the Red Fiend. "Help? How the f***ck am I supposed to help?" The Red Fiend was so angry that he cursed. He could not even protect himself, so how could he help Han Yong? "The puppet that is half a step to the manifestation realm seems to be afraid of you." Han Yong was not discouraged. "Instead," he continued, "if I'm not wrong, he's wary of the red flying sword in your hand." "Wary of the red flying sword in my hand?" The Red Fiend was slightly stunned. Then, he held the Red Fiend's sword horizontally in front of him and pretended to slash at the half-step manifestation realm puppet. Swoosh! As expected, the moment the Red Fiend swung the Red Fiend's sword, the half-step manifestation realm puppet retreated hurriedly. At the same time, a horrified expression appeared on its face. "There's hope." The Red Fiend was overjoyed. As long as the puppet before him was wary of the Red Fiend's sword, he might be able to leave this place successfully today. "Humph! There's no use for this flying sword with you. Hand it over to me for safekeeping." Chapter 637. Cleverness is mistaken. I knew you weren't a good person. Hong Mo did not have the slightest trace of nervousness towards Han Yong's sudden attack. Instead, he was extremely calm. "Since you want the Red Demon sword in my hand, there's no harm in giving it to you." The Red Fiend flicked his wrist and threw the Red Fiend's sword in another direction. "Damn it!" Han Yong immediately turned around and chased after the Red Demon's sword when he saw the Red Demon's sword being tossed. The puppet that was half a step into the manifestation realm was afraid of the Red Demon's sword, not the Red Demon. Therefore, in Han Yong's mind, the Red Demon's sword was a few levels more important than the Red Demon. In Han Yong's heart, as long as he seized the Red Fiend's sword, there would be a chance of survival. Sure enough, he fell for it. Hong Mo was overjoyed when he saw Han Yong chasing after the Red Devil sword. He hurriedly dashed out in a flash. His target was the secret crystal room where Ningyu was. Trying to run? Hee, without the red flying sword, let's see how you can dodge. What? Looking at Hong Mo's back, Han Yong originally wanted to say a few harsh words, but he forcefully swallowed them when they reached his mouth. At the same time, he spoke in horror. Whoosh! Han Yong's terror wasn't without reason, but it had an absolute basis. In front of him, a puppet that was half a step into the manifestation stage quietly appeared. Roar! The puppet, who was half a step into the manifestation stage, roared at the sky. Then, its fist gradually grew bigger as its pupils shrank. Kacha! Following that, an extremely crisp sound rang out in the hall. It was extremely ear-piercing. Hong Mo, who had already arrived at the crystal door, couldn't help but turn around to take a look. However, when he saw Han Yong's miserable state, he couldn't help but gasp. Tragic, truly tragic. Han Yong, who was at the late-stage yin-yang realm, did not have any room to resist in the hands of a half-step creation realm puppet and was directly killed. This flying sword is fake. At the final moment before his death, Han Yong looked at the red flying sword that had turned into nothingness in his hand and finally understood. He had been cheated. What the red-robed man threw out was not the red flying sword from before, but a disguise. If it was in the past, Han Yong would definitely be able to notice it. But now was an extraordinary period, and he overlooked this point. Ningyu! The red devil glanced at Han Yong hurriedly, then turned his head and shouted, "The situation is critical, come out quickly!" Bang! Ningyu seemed to hear the Red Fiend's call. As soon as the Red Fiend's words sounded, he blasted open the crystal door and landed steadily in front of the Red Fiend. F***CK. After leaving the crystal chamber, Ningyu first looked at the Red Fiend, and then he was attracted by the massive creature not far away. A puppet that was half a step into blessed realm. This was too terrifying. How was anyone supposed to survive a puppet with such cultivation? Ningyu, our puppets and ghost corpses have all been blasted into smithereens by this big guy. The Red Devil's voice once again fell into Ningyu's ears like adding oil to the fire. Then why aren't you leaving? Ningyu's heart sank as he hurriedly said. Big guy, seal the door of the hall. We have no way out. Only by defeating it will we have a chance of survival. The Red Devil's tone sounded like he was going all out. He said, "This half-step into blessed realm puppet seems to be afraid of the Red Fiend's sword." It's afraid of the Red Fiend's sword? Ningyu frowned and said, "I'll control the Red Fiend's sword. You go to the crystal chamber and recuperate for a while." "I don't need to recuperate." After saying that, the Red Devil's figure turned into an afterimage and quickly fused with the Red Fiend's sword. Whoosh! When the Red Devil fused with the Red Fiend's sword, the Dark Emperor suddenly rushed out of the storage ring. The appearance of the Dark Emperor stunned Ningyu a little. From the aura emitted by the Dark Emperor, Ningyu judged that the Dark Emperor had recovered to his peak state. Only a short period of time had passed. Even if he relied on the rich vitality in the crystal chamber, he had only recovered 80%. How did the Dark Emperor recover to his peak state? One must know that Lung Mian and Evil Eye had only recovered 10%. Woof, woof. The first thing the Dark Emperor did after appearing was to roar at the sky, and his body quickly changed. In just a few seconds, the Dark Emperor's body had grown several times larger, revealing the appearance of his original body. Ningyu, use the Red Fiend's sword to cut off the head of this puppet. The Dark Emperor's voice suddenly sounded in Ningyu's mind. The Red Fiend's sword is a peak king-level flying sword. This half-step manifestation realm puppet definitely won't be able to block it. Are you sure you're not kidding me? Ningyu's eyes widened and he was a little speechless. If the Dark Emperor asked him to attack the stone door of the hall, he would not be surprised. After all, he would have a chance to escape once the stone door was broken. However, what the hell was cutting off the head of a half-step manifestation realm puppet? I'm very sensitive to energy. I can feel that the energy in this puppet is at its lowest point. It will last for about 3 minutes. The Dark Emperor explained. In these 3 minutes, the half-step manifestation realm aura on this puppet will be sealed in its head, and its cultivation will drop to the peak of yin-yang realm. As long as we can kill it within 3 minutes, the danger will naturally be resolved. Let's go all out. Ningyu stomped on the ground and leaped onto the back of the Dark Emperor. He said in a deep voice, "Dark Emperor, buy me a minute. After a minute, I will kill this puppet." Understood. The Dark Emperor knew the seriousness of the problem. Although it would be difficult to block the puppet in front of him for a minute, the current situation did not allow him to think too much. That was because when Ningyu jumped onto his back, the gigantic puppet not far away had already torn the void with its bare hands and burrowed in. 10 meters to the east, retreat. The Dark Emperor did not want to fight the gigantic puppet head-on. Instead, he wanted to fight it as long as he could. The Dark Emperor was trying his best to avoid the pursuit of the gigantic puppet, but Ningyu was sitting cross-legged on his back. Ningyu held the Red Fiend's sword in his hand as endless primordial energy surged out of his sea of consciousness and injected into the Red Fiend's sword. Buzz. As the primordial energy was injected, the Red Fiend's sword let out a buzzing sound. Not enough. Ling Mian, Evil Eye, transfer your primordial energy to me through the storage ring. Don't hold back at all. Although the speed at which Ningyu injected primordial energy was already very fast, he was not satisfied. At this speed, the Red Fiend's sword would not be able to cut off the head of the gigantic puppet in a minute. After all, the Red Fiend's sword was a Peak King stage flying sword. The more primordial energy there was, the more powerful it would be. Ling Mian and Evil Eye did not dare to delay as they hurriedly transferred the primordial energy that they had just recovered through the storage ring. Even Lu Wei, who was in the storage ring, joined in the transfer of primordial energy. Ningyu was able to transfer his primordial energy safely, but the Dark Emperor was not in a good situation. It seemed like the Dark Emperor's speculation was wrong. As time passed, the cultivation of the gigantic puppet gradually increased. Chapter 638. Miscellaneous Holy Book. Chapter 638. Miscellaneous Holy Book. Ningyu, we don't have much time left. Attack now. The Dark Emperor was not a fool. He knew that he would only die if he continued to fight. Since he could not hold on any longer, he could only ask Ningyu to attack first. Only then would they have a chance of survival. If this dragged on, all of them would die. Dark Emperor, channel all the energy in your body into the Red Demon Sword. I'll attack in 10 seconds. Ningyu took a deep breath and said in a deep voice. Understood. The Dark Emperor did not hesitate at all. As he flew around the hall, he channeled all his energy into the Red Demon Sword. Buzz. As the energy in the Dark Emperor's body continued to decrease, Ningyu was shocked to discover that the Red Demon Sword was trembling slightly. So the vitality in the Dark Emperor's body is the main source. Ningyu was elated when he sensed the changes in the Red Demon Sword. The Dark Emperor was indeed a purple-gold sky-devouring hound. The energy in his body was even more powerful than all of them combined. Relying on the Dark Emperor's energy, the Red Demon Sword's trembling grew louder. In the end, it even broke free from Ningyu's wrist and charged toward the half-step manifestation realm puppet at an extremely fast speed. Swoosh! This sudden change was clearly not what Ningyu had expected. Although he did not expect it, Ningyu knew that the most important thing now was to restrain the half-step manifestation realm puppet from the side and create an opportunity for the Red Demon Sword. Ningyu flipped his wrist, and his soul power poured out and wrapped around his wrist. At the same time, he summoned the blue spirit fire in his body and wrapped it around his wrist together with his soul power. Reincarnation Palm. In the next moment, as Ningyu bellowed, a huge blood-red palm print appeared in the air. The moment the palm print appeared, it locked onto the puppet, who was half a step into the blessed realm. Almost in an instant, it arrived beside the puppet, and under Ning Yu's hopeful gaze, it landed on the puppet's cheek. Puff! A crisp sound rang out in the main hall. However, the puppet seemed unaffected as it continued to charge towards Ning Yu. Damn it! When he saw that the half-step blessed realm puppet was about to reach him, Ning Yu cursed in his heart and immediately retreated. Buzz! Before Ning Yu could even take a few steps back, his pupils constricted and his face was filled with disbelief. Not far away, the red demon sword had already torn through space and appeared beside the puppet, slashing down towards its head. What? Ning Yu was supposed to be happy when he saw the red demon sword slash the puppet's neck. However, he couldn't help but gape when he saw the red demon sword only slash the puppet's neck. It didn't even move an inch. How could the material of this puppet be so high? Even the red demon sword at the peak of the king level couldn't do anything to it. Gotcha! However, just as Ning Yu thought that the puppet was about to counterattack, a crisp cracking sound suddenly rang out and entered his ears. This sound caused Ning Yu, who was on the brink of despair, to completely return to his senses. It was only when he saw a small red flying sword stuck in the puppet's neck that Ning Yu came to a sudden realization. Good sword. It was not the red demon sword that had pierced the puppet's neck, but the good sword that was derived from the red demon sword. Not good. Red demon sword, come back quickly. Ning Yu's excitement did not last for long before his expression changed drastically. This was because Ning Yu sensed a terrifying aura and a frightening yuan qi undulation from the puppet. Judging from the aura, the puppet's cultivation had already reached the half-step manifestation realm and was even approaching the manifestation realm. Judging from the yuan qi undulation, Ning Yu was certain that the puppet would self-destruct in less than 3 seconds. The self-destruction of a half-step manifestation realm puppet was no joke. The slightest carelessness would result in a tragic death. Swish! Perhaps it had sensed the yuan qi undulation from the puppet's body. The red demon's sword did not tarry. It immediately turned its head and flew toward Ning Yu. When it saw the red demon's sword fly away, the good sword also used all its strength to rush out from the puppet's neck. Puff! The puppet seemed to want to drag someone down with it. Just as the good sword flew out from its neck, it raised its right hand and firmly grabbed the good sword in its hand. F***ck. The sudden change caused Ning Yu to curse uncontrollably. However, Ning Yu knew the severity of the problem. He only pondered for a second before deciding to abandon the good sword. Rumble! Not long after Ning Yu made this decision, the puppet continued to expand. 3 seconds later, the puppet exploded with a loud bang. The instant the puppet exploded, Ning Yu's figure flashed and entered the storage ring. Although it was difficult for the storage ring to withstand the shock wave of the puppet's explosion, Ning Yu had no other choice. He could only make a desperate attempt and take a gamble. In order to kill the puppet, all of them, including the Dark Emperor, had exhausted all the energy in their bodies. In their current state, they could only rely on the storage ring. Otherwise, only death awaited them. What's going on? Ning Yu, the Dark Emperor, and the others stayed in the storage ring and waited quietly. However, 1 minute passed, 3 minutes passed, and 10 minutes passed. The storage ring did not even shake, let alone be affected by the shock wave of the puppet's explosion. This doesn't make sense. The self-destruction of a half-step manifestation realm puppet can't be so weak. Ning Yu gritted his teeth and quietly released his perception from the storage ring. Hiss! Ning Yu sucked in a breath of cold air as soon as he saw Ning Yu. The shock wave of the puppet's self-destruction was indeed huge. Even the good sword was blasted in half. What surprised Ning Yu was that there was a slightly yellow book above the puppet's head. At this time, there were several light waves emitted from the book, surrounding the shock wave of the puppet's explosion. Soon, the shock wave of the puppet's explosion was absorbed by the slightly yellow book. Bang! After absorbing the shock wave of the explosion, the book fell from midair and landed on the ground. Gulp. Ning Yu's vision was very good. When he saw the 4 big words on the yellow book, he could not help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Ghost Hatchet Divine Scroll. 4 big golden words were clearly engraved on the book, Ghost Hatchet Divine Scroll. It's actually the Ghost Hatchet Divine Scroll. I wonder if this is the real thing. Ning Yu's face showed unconcealable excitement. The Ghost Hatchet Divine Scroll was said to be a book created by an ancient almighty. It was all-encompassing. Puppetry techniques, mechanisms, and even the structure of arrays and the forging of Dharma treasures were explained. If the reincarnation Pill Tao was the holy book of the pill world, then the Ghost Hatchet Divine Scroll was the miscellaneous holy book. In his previous life, even though Ning Yu's cultivation had reached the Sky Supreme stage, he had rarely touched on arrays and the forging of Dharma treasures. Firstly, it was because he mainly cultivated alchemy and martial arts. Secondly, it was because he did not have a treasure like the Ghost Hatchet Divine Scroll. Chapter 639. Take control of the Zhang family. Although Ning Yu really wanted to see if the Ghost Hatchet God Scroll was real, Ning Yu didn't act recklessly. First, he separated a strand of his soul power to approach the book. Ning Yu carefully approached the book after confirming that there was no danger around the book and the book itself. It took Ning Yu a full minute to walk such a short distance. Arriving beside the book, Ning Yu took out the soul-chasing sword and picked up the book. There shouldn't be any danger. After some thought, Ning Yu sheathed the soul-chasing sword and picked up the book. Ghost Hatchet God Scroll, all-encompassing. Flipping open the book, the first thing that came into view were these 8 words. There's an 80% chance that it's genuine. Ning Yu's face lit up, and he hurriedly flipped through the book page by page, wanting to skim through it quickly. However, when Ning Yu flipped to the 5th page of the book, he couldn't open it no matter what. Furthermore, no matter how much strength he used, even with the addition of his soul force, he was unable to open the book. Why are there only 5 pages? Ning Yu frowned, feeling a little speechless. The Ghost Hatchet Godly Scroll had dozens of pages, and he could only open 5 pages. What was the use of it? Moreover, the first 5 pages of the Ghost Hatchet Divine Scroll explained how to create and restrain puppet. Forget it, I'll keep it for now. I'll study it when I have time. After pondering for a while, Ning Yu gave up on the idea of researching here. After all, this was the forbidden ground of the Zhang clan, and there was no telling what kind of danger he might encounter later on. It was a little too arrogant for him to study the Ghost Hatchet God Scroll here. Furthermore, there was not the slightest bit of vitality left in their bodies. They had to recover to their peak state as soon as possible. Whoosh! Ning Yu was not an indecisive person. His figure immediately flashed and entered the secret crystal room. The yuan qi in the crystal chamber was extremely dense, and the yuan qi was infinitely close to liquid. In the secret crystal room, Ning Yu was confident that he could completely recover to his peak state within half an hour. In a secret room of the Zhang family, more than a dozen martial artists gathered together. The weakest among them was at half-step yin-yang realm, while the strongest was at mid-stage yin-yang realm. Third Elder, it's been a few hours since the First Elder and the Patriarch left. Why aren't they back yet? A middle-stage yin-yang realm martial artist said in a deep voice. Fourth Elder, what are you panicking for? Do you think someone dares to behave atrociously in the Zhang family? The Second Elder said darkly. The Great Elder and the Patriarch haven't returned yet, but hasn't the Second Elder also not returned yet? There's no need to worry. How can I not be anxious? The Fourth Elder said coldly, this is a critical period. If we're not careful, the Zhang family might fall because of this. At this time, everyone should go out and investigate the cause of the ancestor's death, instead of waiting here blindly. What do you mean by waiting blindly? If fourth elder wants to leave, you can leave. No one will stop you, second elder said with a smile. You! Fourth elder's face became cold. He was extremely angry. There's no need to be depressed. Even if the ancestor died in battle, the Zhang family still has the first elder to support them. They won't fall. The second elder smiled and waved his hand. Whoosh! However, just as the second elder was about to say something, his expression changed abruptly. He shouted at the entrance of the secret chamber, "Who's there? Why are you so sneaky? Come out." Hee, we're not sneaky. We're doing this openly." A light laugh came from the entrance of the secret chamber. Then, two figures, one in front and one behind, slowly appeared in front of the crowd. Openly? Ah! Feeling the fluctuation of yuan qi from the two figures, everyone in the secret chamber could not help but laugh out loud. The second elder, in particular, was grinning from ear to ear. "If you know what's good for you, kneel down and apologize to us. Otherwise, no, who are you? Why are you in the Zhang family?" When the second elder first saw the two figures, he crossed his arms in front of his chest and stared at them with interest. Suddenly, Zhang Lei seemed to have thought of something and said coldly, "The Zhang family security is tight. How did you get here? Tell me, and I'll spare your lives." "Of course we came in from the main entrance of the Zhang family. As for our identities, there's no harm in telling you," Ningyu shrugged and said lightly, "I'm Ningyu, and he's the Dark Emperor." "Ningyu? The Dark Emperor?" Hearing Ningyu's words, Zhang Lei frowned slightly, as if thinking of something. Very quickly, Zhang Lei raised his eyebrows and said darkly, "I was wondering who it was. So it's Ningyu, the number one on the Zhang family's wanted list. There's a way out for you, but you chose to barge into hell. Good, very good. A man and a dog dared to barge into the Zhang family. You're really arrogant. What a pity. This day next year will be the anniversary of your death." From Zhang Lei's point of view, Ningyu's cultivation was only at the pinnacle of the primal core realm. They had more than 10 half-step Yin-Yang realm and Yin-Yang realm martial artists, and one or two of them would be able to take down Ningyu. As for the black dog that Ningyu mentioned, Zhang Lei did not take it to heart. After all, how powerful could a black dog be? You only have one chance. In the past, the Dark Emperor would have flown into a rage after hearing Zhang Lei call him a dog. But now, the Dark Emperor seemed to have toned down his temper and did not kill Zhang Lei immediately. Instead, he said, "Submit to me and swear to the heavens, and I might spare your worthless life." "You want to spare my worthless life?" Zhang Lei's face darkened. He waved his hand and said, "Go and take down these two arrogant fellows. Dead or alive." In the end, Zhang Lei added another sentence. "Sigh, I thought I was arrogant enough. I didn't expect someone to be even more arrogant than me." The Dark Emperor sighed and immediately dashed out. Swoosh! The Dark Emperor was extremely fast as he shuttled back and forth in the room. Slap, slap, slap. The Dark Emperor wasn't just flying around the room. Instead, it was constantly waving its front claws around. There was a continuous paw-paw sound. Every cultivator in the room felt a trace of panic. Zhang Lei's current situation was as though he had seen a ghost. He kept retreating, hoping to avoid the Dark Emperor's attack. Slap! But how could the Dark Emperor let Zhang Lei go? Out of all the martial artists in the room, Zhang Lei was the most injured. In order to satisfy Zhang Lei, the Dark Emperor slapped him dozens of times, causing him to spit out blood and his face to swell. "This is the Zhang family. How dare you behave so atrociously in the Zhang family? I think." Zhang Lei was the second elder of the Zhang family after all. Being slapped by the Dark Emperor in front of so many people, he felt embarrassed and immediately shouted. As soon as he shouted, he spat out a mouthful of blood and his aura dropped to the freezing point. Whoosh! Two shadows rushed out from the storage ring on Ningyu's wrist and landed beside Ningyu. Chapter 640. Held as scheduled, peak late yin-yang stage. Feeling the aura emitted by one of the warriors, Zhang Lei's expression changed drastically, and his heart sank to the bottom. Including the fourth elder, there were only 2 middle-stage yin-yang stage cultivators in the secret chamber. In the current situation, not to mention 2 middle yin-yang stage warriors, even 4 or 5 of them wouldn't be a match for the peak late yin-yang stage warrior. Furthermore, other than the peak late yin-yang stage warrior, there was also an extremely powerful black dog. Anyone who refuses to swear an oath to the heavens will be killed without mercy. Ningyu first said to Ling Mian and Sun Jiangwen, then his figure flashed and he left the secret room. Seeing that Ningyu had left, the Dark Emperor did not stay in the secret room for long and quickly left. Ningyu, why didn't you control them and let Ling Mian and Sun Jiangwen fight instead? Outside the secret room, the Dark Emperor was very puzzled. Ling Mian was a member of the imperial family, and Sun Jiangwen was a member of the Corpse Yin sect. In the Dark Emperor's opinion, it was somewhat unreasonable for them to control the Zhang family's upper echelons. If they betrayed him, the consequences would be unimaginable. If you want to spend extra effort to control them, I have no objections. How could Ningyu not know what the Dark Emperor was thinking? That's what you said. As soon as Ningyu finished speaking, the Dark Emperor revealed a happy expression and immediately leaped into the secret room. Seeing the Dark Emperor's actions, the corner of Ningyu's mouth twitched a few times. Actually, he also wanted to personally control the Zhang family's upper echelons, but the strength of his soul force did not support him doing so. After all, every time he controlled a warrior, he would need to consume some soul force. His soul force was only at the peak of the 5th grade, so it was not enough for him to control so many warriors. The Corpse Yin sect has lost 2 warriors at the peak of the yin-yang stage here. They will definitely not let this matter rest. I wonder if controlling the Zhang family's upper echelons is right or wrong. Ningyu took a deep breath and muttered. Azura and Gui Sha were both experts of the Corpse sect. Once the Corpse sect found out that they had died in the Zhang family's forbidden area, they would definitely investigate. After all, compared to the Hall Masters of the Corpse sect, Azura and Gui Sha were much stronger, and their cultivation had reached the peak of the yin-yang realm. There's no point in thinking so much. We'll deal with whatever comes our way. The Corpse sect's Fate Realm cultivators will not dare to make a move in the capital. Shaking his head, Ningyu thought to himself, now that I have advanced to the pinnacle of the primal core stage, coupled with the Dark Emperor and the Red Demon, it should be easy for me to fight against a pinnacle of the yin-yang stage. Ningyu, who was at the peak of the primal core stage, the Dark Emperor, who was at the early stage of the yin-yang stage, and the Red Devil, who was at the early stage of the yin-yang stage. Out of the 3 of them, any one of them was a freak among freaks. Individually, they could contend with a late-stage yin-yang stage cultivator. If they worked together, it wouldn't be difficult for them to contend with a pinnacle yin-yang stage cultivator. If Ningyu could advance to yin-yang realm, he could even kill a peak yin-yang realm martial artist. Creak. About 20 minutes later, the door of the secret chamber was slowly pushed open from the inside. The Dark Emperor and Ling Mian walked out side by side. Behind them, there were only 5 martial artists left. 1 was a half-step yin-yang stage, 2 were early-stage yin-yang stage, and 2 were mid-stage yin-yang stage. Seeing this, Ningyu was slightly stunned and asked doubtfully, the other dozen martial artists? There were more than a dozen martial artists in the secret chamber just now. Why were there only 5 now? It has nothing to do with me. The Dark Emperor shook his head and tried his best to disassociate himself. After you left, not only did they not swear the Heavenly Tao oath, they even attacked us. At this point, the Dark Emperor seemed to be filled with righteous indignation. In order to protect myself, I had to personally attack and kill more than a dozen martial artists. The Dark Emperor said angrily, these people just don't know what's good for them. After beating them up and killing a few martial artists, they became obedient and naturally swore the heavenly Tao oath. F***ck. Ningyu cursed in his heart. The Dark Emperor was indeed troublesome. No matter what, the Zhang family was a first-rate faction in the capital, and their business covered the entire Great Xia Kingdom. If too much of the upper echelon's fighting strength was lost, they might not be able to care about the surrounding businesses and not be able to control the forces below. In such a situation, the family could easily fall apart. Forget it, I won't lower myself to your level. Ningyu thought for a moment and said, get that middle-stage yin-yang realm martial artist to bring all of the Zhang family's essence crystals over. I want to use them. If I knew you would ask that, I would have already asked for all the essence crystals. The Dark Emperor chuckled and threw a storage bag to Ningyu. Ningyu took the storage bag, slightly released his soul force, and began to explore. Are you King sure you're not kidding me? Looking at the number of essence crystals in the storage bag, Ningyu could not help but curse. The Zhang family only has 100,000 transcendent grade essence crystals. Sai, you don't know. The Dark Emperor waved his hand and said, the Zhang family originally had a few million transcendent grade essence crystals, but not long ago, they were all taken away by the experts of the Corpse sect and brought to the Coiling Dragon Ridge. Coiling Dragon Ridge? Ningyu temporarily ignored the matter of the essence crystals and asked doubtfully. That's right, there are 3 powerful forces in the Coiling Dragon Ridge: Danwu College, Corpse sect, and the Imperial family. The Dark Emperor explained, they are fighting in the Coiling Dragon Ridge, and it seems like the outcome will not be decided in a short period of time. You win. Ningyu noticed the smile on the Dark Emperor's face and instantly understood. The Dark Emperor must be eating alone. With Ningyu's understanding of the Dark Emperor, if the Dark Emperor was willing to leave him 100,000 transcendent grade essence crystals, he must have at least 500,000 on him. Let's go to Sikong Ling's place and prepare for the alchemy competition. Ningyu did not want to be entangled with the Dark Emperor. After saying that, he immediately leaped up and disappeared in the blink of an eye. As for the Dark Emperor, Ling Mian, and the rest, they followed closely behind Ningyu and disappeared together. In the west of the Great Xia Kingdom, there was an extremely large group of palaces. At the center of the palaces was a huge square. This square belonged to the Alchemy Union. It could be said that all the major events of the Alchemy Union would be held here. Today was the day of the alchemy competition. Ever since the Alchemy Union announced that they would be holding the alchemy competition, the martial artists in the capital had been paying close attention to it. After dragging it for so long, today's alchemy competition was finally held as scheduled. The square, surrounded by many luxurious palaces, was already occupied by a dense crowd. Although there were many people, there was not the slightest noise. Instead, it was abnormally quiet. However, the aura emitted from everyone was soaring into the sky. It was a spectacular sight. In the center of the square there were 10 huge round platforms. On each platform there were dozens of stone tables. On the stone tables there was a small cauldron and a storage bag. Behind the 10 round platforms there was a huge square platform with several figures sitting on it. Brother Dan, it's our Alchemy Union's honor to have you as the chief examiner for this alchemy competition. Chapter 641. Another bet. President Peng's attainments in the alchemy Tao are even deeper than mine. Me being the chief examiner is just like showing off in front of an expert. Dan Chenzi said, the alchemy competition aims to select the alchemy Tao geniuses of the Great Xia Kingdom. After this competition, there will definitely be many geniuses joining the Alchemy Union. By then, President Peng's position in the Alchemy Union will definitely rise by another level. Brother Dan, you must be joking. Pringzhou didn't seem to want to talk about this anymore. He immediately changed the topic and asked, Brother Dan, who do you think will be the top 3 in this competition? Old Fox. Dan Shenzi sneered in his heart, but on the surface he said, I can't say for sure, but as far as I know, Donwu College has sent out 3 false saints. Their target is the top 3 in the competition. False saints. Hearing this, Ping Zhou's heart shuddered. He was slightly worried. Donwu College's false saints were all geniuses among geniuses. There were rumors that those who relied on the alchemy Tao to become false saints had at least a 5th-grade soul force. One could imagine that once Donwu College sent out 3 false saints to participate in the alchemy competition, 1 or 2 of the top 3 would definitely be taken by false saints. President Pring, don't think too much. There are many tests in the alchemy competition. Even Donwu College's false saints might not be able to get the top 3. Perhaps Dan Shenzi saw through Pring Zhou's worry, so he waved his hand and said, There is still half an hour before the competition starts. It seems like there is still a genius alchemist in the Alchemy Union who hasn't arrived yet. I have sent someone to look for him. Situwen will be here soon. Pring Zhou was also very angry when Situwen was mentioned. At this critical moment, he still hasn't arrived. Could it be that he doesn't want to participate in the alchemy competition? Ping Zhou made up his mind. When Situwen arrived, he would definitely teach him a lesson. If Ping Zhou knew that Situwen had died in the battle, what would he think? Swish. At the same time, in the middle of the plaza, Ningyu stood in the middle with Si Kongling, Zhou Tong, and Lu Wei by his side. Ningyu, I heard that the main examiner for this alchemy competition is the Xia Empire's Dan Shenzi. After swallowing a transcendent grade Yuan transformation pill, after a night of absorption and refining, Sikong Ling's cultivation had already reached the middle stage of the Yuan Dan stage. Dan Shenzi is the chief examiner? Ningyu was slightly startled. He faintly felt that something was wrong. Since entering Donwu College, Dan Shenzi's last disciple, Yi Tian, had already lost to Ningyu twice. Moreover, each defeat was more miserable than the last. Given Dan Shenzi's character, he probably wouldn't let the matter rest. Actually, it wasn't that Ningyu was gauging the heart of a gentleman with his own mean measure, but Ningyu had already understood Dan Shenzi's character from Dan Xingzi. He was extremely cunning. One had to be extremely careful when dealing with such a person. Otherwise, it was inevitable that one would suffer a loss. That's right, Dan Shenzi is the main examiner. He has full authority over the alchemy competition, Zhou Tong added. We'll deal with it when it comes. Ningyu took a deep breath, then shifted his gaze towards Lu Wei. You can give it a try in this alchemy competition. Me? Lu Wei pointed at her own nose and shook her head. I'm only a 3rd-grade alchemist. Even if I participate in the alchemy competition, I'm afraid I won't even be able to pass the first round. Moreover, even if I want to participate in the alchemy competition, it's impossible because I didn't even register. You don't have to worry about this. I've already asked Rin Xiangtian to arrange the registration for you. You just need to obediently participate in the assessment. Ningyu smiled at Lu Wei and said, Who says that 3rd-grade alchemists can't pass the first round? In my opinion, it's not impossible for you to enter the finals. The top 3 in the alchemy competition would definitely be rewarded handsomely. Lu Wei was only an early-stage 3rd-grade alchemist. If she could place first in the alchemy competition, she could easily break through to a 4th-grade alchemist. Haha, a 3rd-grade alchemist wants to enter the finals? Why don't you look at yourself in the mirror? A toad lusting after swan meat. Just then, an ear-piercing voice entered Ningyu's ears, causing his face to darken. Not far away, 2 silhouettes pushed through the crowd and slowly appeared before Ningyu. If a 3rd-grade alchemist can enter the finals, I'll twist my head off and let you use it as a chamber pot. One of the cultivator's lips curled up and said, I'll let you in on a secret. The lowest requirement to enter the finals is to brew a 5th-grade Dan. Ha ha whoosh. This cultivator's words caused a commotion in the crowd. Only by brewing a 5th grade Dan can one enter the finals. It seems like I'm done for this time. Only 12 cultivators will enter the finals. Let's not even think about it. The top 100 will be rewarded handsomely. Top 100? With so many alchemy geniuses gathered here, I'll be lucky to be able to enter the top 200. The surrounding cultivator's words did not attract Ning Yu's attention. His gaze fell on a familiar figure in front of him. I was wondering who it was. So it's my loser, Zhao Kuo, the great prodigy Zhao. Looking at the familiar figure in front of him, Ning Yu laughed. TSK, the great prodigy Zhao is my lucky star. Every time you appear, I win a lot of origin crystals. You. Hearing Ning Yu's sarcastic words, Zhao Kuo gritted his teeth in anger. He had indeed lost hundreds of thousands of supreme origin crystals to Ning Yu. He had almost become a money grubber. If there weren't so many people watching, Zhao Kuo would have lost his temper. Zhao Kuo took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down. He said in a low voice, Ning Yu, I'm here to discuss something with you. Not interested. Ning Yu ignored Zhao Kuo and dragged Lu Wei away. This was Zhao Kuo's home ground, and the experts from Danwu College had not arrived yet. It was unwise to start a conflict with Zhao Kuo now. Ning Yu, if you're scared, you can say it out loud. I won't make things difficult for you. Seeing that Ning Yu was about to leave, Zhao Kuo quickly said, You said that Lu Wei can enter the finals. I'll make a bet with you. I bet she won't even make it through the first round. The bet is 300,000 supreme origin crystals. Fearing that Ning Yu would not agree, Zhao Kuo added, If I lose, I'll give you 300,000 supreme origin crystals. If I win, you don't have to give me any supreme origin crystals. All you have to do is kneel down and kowtow to me in front of all these people and apologize. Ning Yu stopped in his tracks at Zhao Kuo's words. What do you say? Think about it, Zhao Kuo said proudly with a smile. This time, Ning Yu did not look at Zhao Kuo. Instead, his eyes fell on a blue-clothed martial artist beside Zhao Kuo. The blue-clothed martial artist was about 23 or 24 years old, and he exuded a vigorous aura. In terms of martial strength, he was even stronger than Zhao Kuo. Chapter 642. Unwinnable. Peak Rank 5. It was even possible that he had reached Rank 6. However, the blue-clothed martial artist was good at hiding his aura. Normal martial artists would not be able to detect the strength of his early-stage Rank 6 soul force. Zhao Kuo's soul force was only at peak Rank 5. Why was the blue-clothed martial artist's soul force infinitely close to Rank 6? Was he not from the Alchemy Union? Ning Yu had already learned from Ren Xiangtian that the Alchemy Union did not have any geniuses whose soul force had reached Rank 6. In other words, the blue-clothed martial artist next to Zhao Kuo was most likely not from the Union. I've got it. Noticing the change in Ning Yu's expression, Zhao Kuo rolled his eyes and said, Ning Yu, I know this bet is not in your favor. How about this, let's change the bet. How? Ning Yu asked. It's simple. The martial artist next to me is called Shi Yang. If Lu Wei can defeat him in alchemy, I'll lose 300,000 supreme grade origin crystals to you. Zhao Kuo did not even blink when he lied. Shi Yang is also a rank 3 alchemist. He's on par with Lu Wei. No one is taking advantage of the other. Hearing Zhao Kuo's serious words, Ning Yu could not help but burst out laughing. He was too good at pretending. Shi Yang was a rank 6 alchemist, but Zhao Kuo said he was a rank 3 alchemist. Ning Yu, you've won big this time. Zhao Kuo did not know why Ning Yu was laughing. He thought Ning Yu thought he had won big. He said, If Lu Wei defeats Shi Yang, I'll give you 300,000 supreme grade origin crystals. If Lu Wei loses to Shi Yang, you only have to kneel down and apologize. TSK, Your Neil is worth 300,000 supreme-grade origin crystals. Even I'm a little envious. Are you envious? Ningyu said calmly. Zhao Kuo nodded and said, Of course I'm envious. A Neil is worth 300,000. Since you are envious, kneel before me in front of so many people. I will give you 300,000 transcendent-grade origin crystals. Ningyu interrupted Zhao Kuo and said coolly. Whoosh. Although Ningyu's voice was not loud, it contained a faint fluctuation of yuan qi, allowing the surrounding warriors to hear it clearly. At that moment, everyone turned to look at Zhao Kuo, wanting to see if he would agree or not. Damn it! Being stared at by so many people, Zhao Kuo's face turned green with anger. Making him kneel down to Ningyu in front of so many people, even if he was given 1,000,000 transcendent-grade essence crystals, he would not do it either. To put it simply, he couldn't afford to lose face. It's just a joke. Isn't it just a bet on alchemy? It's no big deal. How could Ningyu not know what Zhao Kuo was thinking? Besides, even if Zhao Kuo knelt before him, he would not give him 300,000 supreme-grade essence crystals. It was not worth it at all. In Ningyu's opinion, Zhao Kuo's Neil was worth 1 low-grade essence crystal at most. So, you agree? Zhao Kuo's face lit up and he hurriedly said, A gentleman keeps his word. You can't go back on your word. I'm not you. Why would I go back on my word? Ningyu shrugged and said indifferently. You're just a glib talker, Zhao Kuo said viciously. I'll make you cry later. Zhao Kuo, I don't really trust your character. How about this, as long as you can take out 300,000 transcendent-grade essence crystals, I'll bet with you, Ningyu said calmly. 300,000 transcendent-grade essence crystals was not a small number. Ningyu did not believe Zhao Kuo could take it out in one go. If he put it on credit, it would not be worth it. Hee, since I'm here to compete in alchemy, I'll pay the 300,000 transcendent-grade essence crystals. At this moment, Shi Yang smiled and took out a storage bag from his robe. He tossed it to Ningyu and said, There are 300,000 transcendent-grade essence crystals in there. You can check them. There's no need to check. There are exactly 300,000 transcendent-grade essence crystals in there. Ningyu flicked his sleeve and a cold light shot out. The cold light hit the storage bag, and it instantly turned around and returned to Shi Yang's side. Ningyu is really generous. He chose to trust Shi Yang without checking. That's 300,000 transcendent-grade essence crystals. What if Lu Wei defeats Shi Yang and finds that there are not so many? Wouldn't it be a big loss? Ningyu is indeed a man of integrity. The discussions from the surrounding martial artists infuriated Zhao Kuo. Didn't Ningyu just not check the storage bag? Did they have to praise him like this? It'd be weird if he didn't check. If the crowd knew that the cold light shot out by Ningyu contained a strand of soul power, what would they think? One should know that with that strand of soul power, Ningyu knew exactly how many transcendent-grade essence crystals were in the storage bag. Since we're all third-grade alchemists, let's make a third-grade elixir, the wind speed elixir. Shi Yang did not take the storage bag either. Instead, he tossed it aside and took out another storage bag from his robe. He said, The wind speed elixir is a third-grade elixir. It's not too difficult to make. Whoever can make the highest quality wind speed elixir within the allotted time will be the winner. I have no objections. Ningyu shrugged, indicating that he didn't care. Ningyu. While Ningyu didn't mind, Lu Wei's expression darkened. She was only an early-stage third-grade alchemist, and had never made a wind speed elixir before. How could she possibly make it in front of so many people? Don't worry, it's just a wind speed elixir. With me here, not only can you make it, you might even be able to make a transcendent-grade wind speed elixir. Ningyu walked up to Lu Wei, patted her shoulder and said, Don't feel pressured. Just do it like you usually do. If she can make a transcendent-grade wind speed elixir, I'll kneel and kowtow to you. Zhao Kuo snorted. Zhao Qu knew very well that Lu Wei was only an early-stage third-grade alchemist, and it was still unknown whether she could make a wind speed elixir. How could Ning Yu say that she could make a transcendent grade wind speed elixir? What a fool's dream! Zhao Qu, everyone heard you. You're the one who said it. I didn't force you, Ning Yu said in a clear voice. What's wrong with what I said? A gentleman keeps his word. Zhao Qu said coldly, as long as Lu Wei can make a transcendent grade wind speed elixir, I'll kneel and apologize. Ning Yu, Lu Wei is only a third-grade alchemist. Xikong Ling and Zhou Tong said hesitantly with anxious expressions. Don't worry, it's just a transcendent grade wind speed elixir. Lu Wei can easily make it. Ning Yu waved his hand, indicating that Xikong Ling and Zhou Tong need not worry. The reason why Ning Yu was so confident was because when he patted Lu Wei's shoulder, he had secretly slipped the storage ring on his finger into Lu Wei's pocket. Inside the storage ring was Sun Jiangwen, a peak 7th-grade alchemist. With Sun Jiangwen's alchemy skills, making a transcendent grade wind speed elixir would be a piece of cake. Chapter 643. Chapter 643. Supreme Grade Medicinal Pills. Ning Yu, aren't you afraid of biting your tongue with your big words? Zhao Qu said coldly, there's less than half an hour before the competition starts. In my opinion, you should let Lu Wei and Shi Yang compete in alchemy. Don't waste our time. Since you're in such a hurry to lose the supreme grade yuan crystals to me, I have no objections. Ning Yu answered and reached into his robe to take out his alchemy furnace. But soon, Ning Yu stopped and said to Lu Wei, you have an alchemy furnace with you, right? Yes, I have an alchemy furnace. Lu Wei nodded and took out a square alchemy furnace. Ah! Zhao Qu couldn't help but laugh when he saw the alchemy furnace. You call this an alchemy furnace? Cabbage, it's not even worth 100,000 low-grade yuan crystals. Zhao Qu pointed at the medicinal pill in Lu Wei's hand and smiled. Although the wind-walking pill is only a third-grade medicinal pill, it should be very difficult to concoct with this kind of alchemy furnace. Whether I can concoct it or not is none of your concern. Ning Yu couldn't be bothered with Zhao Qu. Let him jump now, I'll make him cry later. Shi Yang, can we start? Ning Yu looked at Shi Yang and said, in 5 minutes, whoever concocts the highest quality wind-walking pill will be the winner. We can start any time. Shi Yang's eyes turned cold and he took out a white alchemy furnace. Although the alchemy furnace was only the size of a palm, as Shi Yang poured his soul power into it, the alchemy furnace grew bigger and bigger. In the end, it was a few times bigger. This is ridiculous. The corner of Ning Yu's mouth twitched. Shi Yang's alchemy furnace wasn't particularly good. It wasn't even in the Earth ranking. But compared to Lu Wei's alchemy furnace, it was much better. Swoosh! After taking out the alchemy furnace, Shi Yang didn't hesitate at all. He took out a medicinal ingredient and threw it into the alchemy furnace, then started concocting with all his might. As for Lu Wei, she looked at Ning Yu and did not make a move. It wasn't that Lu Wei didn't want to refine the wind speed pill, but that she didn't know how to. She was afraid that when she placed the medicinal ingredients into the pill furnace, the pill would explode. Whoosh! However, just as Lu Wei was at a loss for what to do, her palm suddenly moved on its own. Following that, under her horrified gaze, Lu Wei's palm continuously grabbed the medicinal ingredients and threw them into the pill furnace. The sudden change caused Lu Wei's mouth to gape slightly, her face filled with disbelief. Her palm was not under her control. Not many people would believe it if she said it. Lu Wei, don't worry. Relax your mind, someone will naturally refine the pill for you. Seeing Lu Wei's surprised expression, Ning Yu transmitted his voice to her. Make it look real. Don't give yourself away. Alright. At first, Lu Wei thought that she had seen a ghost, but now that she heard Ning Yu's words, she felt relieved. It turned out that it was all Ning Yu's doing. Look, Lu Wei's refining speed seems to be much faster than Shi Yang's. Could it be that Lu Wei will win in the end? That's hard to say. After all, both of them are third-grade pill refiners. Who is stronger and who is weaker will have to wait until the end to be determined. Ignorant. Shi Yang is not an ordinary third-grade pill refiner. Hearing the surrounding martial artists' discussion, the president of Neptune City's Alchemy Union said coldly, "If I'm not mistaken, the strength of Shi Yang's soul force is no weaker than mine." Whoosh! As soon as the president of Neptune City's Alchemy Union finished his words, the surrounding martial artists were dumbfounded. Stronger than the president of Neptune City's Alchemy Union? Didn't that mean that the strength of Shi Yang's soul force had reached the 5th grade? After all, the president of Neptune City's Alchemy Union was a 5th-grade mid-stage pill refiner. To be more specific, Shi Yang is most likely a 5th-grade advanced stage pill refiner. Hai Tian said gloomily. Lu Wei can defeat Shi Yang? That's just wishful thinking. Hai Tian's words were the straw that broke the camel's back. In an instant, the crowd switched from supporting Lu Wei to supporting Shi Yang. Zhao Kuo was very satisfied with the crowd's sudden change in attitude. He secretly gave Hai Tian a thumbs up with his right hand. The reason why Zhao Kuo chose to expose Shi Yang's soul force strength was to create a psychological pressure on Lu Wei, so that Lu Wei's core would explode. Zhao Kuo was a little worried because of the level of pill refinement that Lu Wei had shown just now. Sigh, some people are used to lying, and it's very difficult to change. As someone who had lived 2 lives, how could Ning Yu not know what Zhao Kuo was thinking? But he did not point it out. Instead, he sighed and said, "Not long ago, it was said that Shi Yang and Lu Wei were both third-grade pill refiners. It's only been a short time, and Shi Yang has already exposed the fact that he's a 5th-grade pill refiner." "Ning Yu, what do you mean?" Zhao Kuo said gloomily. Although Shi Yang is a 5th-grade pill refiner, when he competed with Lu Wei in pill refinement, he suppressed his alchemy level to that of a 3rd-grade pill refiner. So, Lu Wei is not at a disadvantage. I don't care about that. All I care about is whether you'll give me the 300,000 supreme-grade yuan crystals, and whether you'll kneel down and kowtow to me. Ning Yu said indifferently. I, Zhao Kuo, am a man of my word. Zhao Kuo snorted coldly and said, "In order to dispel your concerns, I dare to swear a heavenly oath." Then, Zhao Kuo swore a heavenly oath in front of everyone. Sigh, why bother? It's just a heavenly oath, there's no need for you to do this. Ning Yu sighed, then changed the topic. But since you've sworn a heavenly oath, I'm not worried. You can now speed up the pill refinement process for Lu Wei. What? Zhao Kuo frowned as if he did not understand what Ning Yu meant. Splash! In the next moment, Lu Wei flipped her wrist and threw all the pills needed to refine the wind speed pill into the cauldron. Then, Lu Wei placed her hands on the cauldron and closed her eyes, chanting some incantation. If chanting incantations can refine the wind speed pill, then what's the use of alchemists? Shi Yang pursed his lips and said disdainfully. That's right. For minutes have passed, and Shi Yang is about to finish refining the pill. I don't believe that Lu Wei can. What? Zhao Kuo echoed. He was about to mock Ning Yu, but before he could finish his words, his eyes widened and a dumbfounded look appeared on his face. Gotcha! Lu Wei's palm slammed heavily on the cauldron. The low-quality cauldron was instantly shattered by Lu Wei's slap. Swoosh! Following that, a pill emitting a faint white halo shot out. Seeing the pill flying out, Ning Yu's reflexes were quick. He stomped on the ground and dashed forward, catching the pill firmly in his hand. With the pill in hand, Ning Yu unhurriedly came to Zhao Kuo's side and slowly opened his palm. Gulp! Looking at the silver-white pill in Ning Yu's hand, Zhao Kuo could not help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Even his voice was trembling. Chapter 644. Kowtowing and admitting his mistake. Chapter 644. Apologizing. Zhao Kuo's face was full of bitterness. If someone had told him that Lu Wei could defeat Shi Yang in alchemy, he would have slapped that person and told him to get lost. Shi Yang was a 6th realm alchemist, while Lu Wei was only a 3rd realm alchemist. They were not on the same level at all. However, the result was such a mess. Lu Wei won, and Shi Yang lost completely. Lu Wei could actually refine a supreme grade wind speed pill. This is unbelievable. She managed to refine a supreme grade wind speed pill in just 4 minutes. That's right. Even an ordinary 6th realm alchemist might not be able to do that. Zhao Kuo was already furious. When he heard the discussions of the martial artists around him, he was on the verge of exploding. However, the truth was right in front of him. With so many people watching, he could not lose his temper and could only endure it. Compared to Zhao Kuo's reaction, Shi Yang was much more shocked and confused. Damn it! Shi Yang was very regretful, extremely regretful. With his alchemy skills, he could have easily refined a supreme grade wind speed pill in 4 minutes. However, when he saw that Lu Wei still had some time to complete the pill, he slowed down a little. It was this momentary slowing down that made Shi Yang feel as if he had eaten **T. He lost. He was completely defeated by a 3rd realm alchemist. After all, this was his first duel since leaving Danwu College, yet he was defeated so thoroughly and cleanly. Can I take back the 300,000 transcendent grade origin crystals that belong to me now? Ning Yu's voice rang out in the area. Shi Yang was silent. As the fake holy son of Danwu College, he would not go back on his word for 300,000 supreme grade raw crystals. Moreover, Zhao Kuo was the one in charge of the duel with Lu Wei. Even if he lost 300,000 supreme grade raw crystals, he believed that Zhao Kuo would return it to him. Shi Yang was silent, but Zhao Kuo's face was full of unwillingness. That was 300,000 transcendent grade essence crystals. If it was taken away by Ningyu, he would really become a pauper. From start to finish, he had lost a total of several 100,000 transcendent grade essence crystals to Ningyu. In the future, he would not be able to run away from the title of fortune-giving boy. Thank you. Seeing that Shi Yang and Zhao Kuo did not react, Ningyu smiled faintly. His figure flashed and the storage pouch appeared in his hand. Holding the storage pouch in his hand, Ningyu came to stand beside Lu Wei and said, "You won these crystals, so you should be the one to keep them." With that, Ningyu stuffed the storage bag into Lu Wei's pocket. When he withdrew his hand, Ningyu secretly held the storage ring in his hand and took it out. "Ningyu, these are the essence. Furball." Lu Wei hurriedly took out the storage pouch and handed it to Ningyu. Just as Lu Wei took out the storage pouch, Furball darted out from her bosom and snatched it away. Woof woof! Furball shook the storage pouch in its paw and barked at Ningyu in a provocative manner before burrowing back into Lu Wei's bosom. "I forgot about that." Ningyu smiled bitterly. He had indeed forgotten about Furball. 300,000 transcendent grade essence crystals would probably make Furball happy for a long time. "Ningyu, you better hope that I don't run into you during the alchemy competition." Just then, Zhao Kuo's gloomy voice rang out in the area, "Otherwise, I will make you lose miserably." "Hee, I would have forgotten about it if you hadn't reminded me." Hearing Zhao Kuo's words, Ningyu was stunned for a moment before he smiled and said, "I remember that before Lu Wei and Shi Yang competed in alchemy, you swore an oath to the heavenly Tao that as long as Lu Wei could refine a transcendent grade wind walk pill, you would kowtow to me and admit your mistake. What, are you going back on your word now?" "Ningyu, don't go too far." Zhao Kuo's face was livid and extremely gloomy. Asking him to kowtow to him and admit his mistake was something he could not do. He could not afford to lose face like this. "I don't care. The important thing is that you swore an oath to the heavenly Tao. If you go back on your word, you will be punished later, and that has nothing to do with me. Ningyu shrugged, then grabbed Lu Wei's hand and prepared to leave. I swore an oath to the heavenly Tao that I would kowtow to you and admit my mistake, but don't forget, I didn't say when. Zhao Kuo snorted coldly and said, in other words, there is no difference between kneeling and kowtowing to you and admitting my mistake 100 years later and now. There is a big difference. If you don't believe in heresy, you can leave and see if you will be punished. The corner of Ning Yu's lips curled up slightly, and he said calmly, if you violate an oath to the heavenly Tao, you will have to face the heavenly tribulation. I don't believe in heresy. Let's wait and see. Zhao Kuo glared at Ningyu, then turned around and walked toward the nearest round platform. Are you going to let Zhao Kuo leave just like that? Seeing that Zhao Kuo had left, the Dark Emperor's voice rang in Ningyu's mind. Do you want me to teach him a lesson? Don't alert him. There are a few elites on the platform, and their cultivation is at least yin-yang pinnacle. If you attack, you might attract their attention, Ningyu said in a deep voice. It's fine. I might alert them if I attack on my own, but if I work together with the Red Skin, even yin-yang pinnacle martial artists won't be able to notice anything. The Dark Emperor said confidently. Be careful. Don't act recklessly. Since the Dark Emperor was so confident, Ningyu decided to let him give it a try. To be honest, Ningyu was confused that the heavenly tribulation did not happen to Zhao Kuo. The reason why the oath to the heavenly Tao was so frightening was because it was extremely sensitive. Anyone who violated it would be punished by the heavenly tribulation. Could it be that the person who sent the heavenly tribulation was resting? Rumble. However, before the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil could attack, the sky was filled with dark clouds, and it felt like thunder was about to strike. The oath to the heavenly Tao is going to be fulfilled. Everyone, retreat. We can't stay with Zhao Kuo. That's right. If the heavenly tribulation hits us, it won't be worth it. Let's leave now. We can't stay here any longer. The sudden turn of events caused everyone in the plaza to turn pale. They could not help but run out of the plaza. On the platform, Dan Chenzi and Ping Zhou rose to their feet with grim expressions. Brother Dan, could it be that Zhao Kuo's oath to the heavens has been fulfilled? Ping Zhou's face was filled with anxiety as he asked, is there any way to remedy this? It's hard to tell if the oath is going to be fulfilled, but I've never seen anything like this before, Dan Chenzi said in a deep voice. That brat Zhao Kuo only knows how to cause trouble for me. Ping Zhou clenched his teeth and transmitted his voice to Zhao Kuo. Hurry up and kneel down and apologize to Ningyu. Do you want to be struck by the heavenly tribulation? Zhao Kuo's legs had already turned to jelly. Legend had it that a pinnacle yin-yang pinnacle martial artist in the Great Xia Kingdom had violated the oath to the heavenly Tao and was struck by a heavenly tribulation. Even pinnacle yin-yang pinnacle martial artists could not withstand the heavenly tribulation, let alone Zhao Kuo. Plop. Chapter 645. The 13th Prince. Chapter 645. The 13th Prince. Whoosh. Zhao Kuo's kneeling caused the dark clouds to disperse and the sky to clear up. From the moment the dark clouds appeared to the moment they disappeared, Zhao Kuo's kneeling was the only thing that separated the two. After this incident, the entire capital would probably believe in the heavenly oath, and no one would make one so carelessly in the future. Ningyu, just you wait and see. Zhao Kuo crawled up from the ground and uttered those words in a cold voice. Then, he turned around and left without looking back. Shi Yang had wanted to say something, but seeing how furious Zhao Kuo was, he had no choice but to leave with him. The heavenly oath, Ningyu murmured as he watched Zhao Kuo's back. In his previous life, Ningyu was a sky supreme, so he had naturally experienced the baptism of heavenly tribulations. The changes in the sky just now were very similar to the omens of his heavenly tribulations. Ningyu. Just as Ningyu was deep in thought, a familiar voice reached his ears. Ningyu didn't need to think to know who it was. Li Tongtian. After a while, Li Tongtian came to stand beside Ningyu. Fengzi might be in danger. Li Tongtian's first words made Ningyu's face darken. Ningyu tried to calm himself down and asked, "What danger did Fengzi run into? Tell me." "Late last night, Fengzi went to Danwu College to look for me. Unfortunately, I was in seclusion at the time, so he didn't find me," Li Tongtian said in a low voice. "When I came out this morning, I received a letter from Fengzi from the guards." Swish. As he spoke, Li Tongtian tossed the letter to Ningyu. Rip. Ningyu tore open the letter and skimmed through its contents. That one glance made Ningyu's heart sink to the bottom. When they left Sikongling's place, Fengzi and Li Tongtian each had their own matters to attend to and chose to leave temporarily. In order to ensure Fengzi's safety, Ningyu even sent the Evil Eye to follow him. Along the way, Evil Eye helped Fengzi get rid of quite a few people tailing him. Only when Fengzi left the capital did Evil Eye leave. At first, Ningyu did not know why Fengzi wanted to leave the capital, but when he read the contents of the letter, he completely understood. Fengzi went out of the capital to find someone to duel with. That's not right. Fengzi Xin said that the person he went to find was at the early primal core stage. In terms of strength, he should not be a match for him. Ningyu frowned. Before Ningyu could finish his sentence, a faint chuckle rang out from afar. Ha ha ha, in terms of strength alone, Fengchang is naturally not a match for Fengzi. However, with me added in, even 10 Fengzi would die with a grudge. Then, a young man holding a folding fan pushed through the crowd and slowly appeared in front of Ningyu. Ningyu did not know who the young man was, but he was extremely familiar with the person behind the young man. Fengzi. The person being carried by the crowd behind the young man was Fengzi. "Let me introduce myself. My name is Ouyang Ling." The young man's lips curled into a smile. "You can also call me the 13th Prince." Swoosh. Ouyang Ling's words immediately caused the originally quiet area to become lively again. Everyone might not be too familiar with Ouyang Ling. However, when it came to the 13th Prince, everyone was very familiar with him. In the Great Xia Kingdom, there were a few more famous princes. The 1st Prince, 3rd Prince, 6th Prince, 9th Prince, and 13th Prince. Among them, the first 3 princes were the most likely contenders for the position of Crown Prince. The 9th Prince and the 13th Prince were much more low-key. Although they were low-key, the 13th Prince and the 9th Prince were the absolute talents of the royal family in everyone's hearts. Back then, when the 13th Prince left the capital, he swore that he would not return until his cultivation reached the Yinyang realm. Now that the 13th Prince had returned, it meant that his cultivation had most likely reached the Yinyang realm. 13th Prince, why do you want to capture Fengzi? How did he offend you? Ningyu did not care about the 13th Prince or the 14th Prince. In his heart, saving Fengzi was always the top priority. To be precise, he offended Fengchang, and Fengchang is my man. Ouyang Ling pointed at Fengzi and said indifferently, "In the Great Xia Kingdom, he dared to go against my man. I have to say that he is very arrogant." Tui. Fengchang, that bastard, even if I kill him 100 times, it won't be too much. Fengzi was immediately infuriated when Fengchang was mentioned. Fengchang? Could it be? Ningyu's heart trembled as he hurriedly looked at Fengzi. From Fengzi's expression, Ningyu vaguely understood. Fengzi was originally a member of the Feng clan of the Lanqing nation. The reason why he left the Feng clan was completely out of helplessness. Fengchang was most likely also a member of the Feng clan, and he definitely had an inseparable connection with Fengzi being expelled from the Feng clan. Haha, you still dare to be so stubborn when you're about to die. Ouyang Ling smiled and said, Fengchang, this is a matter between the two of you. You guys settle it yourselves. Thank you, 13th Prince. Fengchang revealed a joyful expression. When he was in the Feng clan, He had a grudge with Feng Zi and even schemed to kill a few of Feng Zi's good brothers. Now that Feng Zi had fallen into his hands, he would definitely not have a good ending. Wait. However, just as Feng Chang was about to make a move, Ouyang Ling's eyes turned and he said, "Ningyu, I see that you have a good relationship with Feng Zi. Why don't I give you a chance to redeem Feng Zi?" 13th Prince. Hearing Ouyang Ling's words, Feng Chang hurriedly said, "Scram!" Ouyang Ling's tone turned cold as he berated, "Who do you think you are? How dare you speak to me in such a tone?" At this moment, Ouyang Ling unleashed the aura of his entire body and crazily suppressed Feng Chang. At the same time, Ouyang Ling also split off a wisp of aura to attack Sikong Ling swoosh. Feeling the powerful aura emanating from Ouyang Ling's body, the surrounding martial artist's expressions changed drastically. Early Yin-Yang Realm. And it was the peak of early Yin-Yang Realm. Ouyang Ling's cultivation had actually reached the peak of early Yin-Yang Realm. Being suppressed by Ouyang Ling's aura, Feng Chang suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood and his aura was somewhat weak. What's going on? Feng Chang spitting out blood was within Ouyang Ling's expectations, but Feng Zi standing on the spot unscathed was somewhat out of Ouyang Ling's expectations. It doesn't make sense that an early primal core martial artist can also withstand the pressure of my aura. Ouyang Ling's brows were tightly knitted together. What kind of redemption? Just as Ouyang Ling was feeling puzzled, Ning Yu's voice entered his ears. Very simple. Just now, Shi Yang lost you 300,000 Supreme Grade Essence Crystals. You give me 300,000 Supreme Grade Essence Crystals and I'll let Feng Zi go. Since he could not understand, Ouyang Ling simply did not think about it for the time being. Instead, he said, 300,000 Supreme Grade Essence Crystals for a person's life. You've made a great deal. Swoosh. Chapter 646. Asking for 600,000. Chapter 646. Asking for 600,000. Inch woof woof. Furball seemed to understand the severity of the problem. Without waiting for Lu Wei to speak, he immediately crawled out of Lu Wei's embrace. After barking twice, Furball threw the storage bag to Ningyu. Swoosh. Ningyu flicked his sleeve and a cold light shot out, hitting the storage bag. The bag changed its trajectory and flew towards Ouyang Ling Pa. Ouyang Ling caught the storage bag steadily. He separated a bit of his perception to check it, and then nodded in satisfaction. You can release Feng Zi now, right? Ningyu said in a low voice when he saw Ouyang Ling keep the storage bag. Don't worry. Since I promised to release Feng Zi, I will not go back on my word. Ouyang Ling shook the storage bag in his hand and smiled. If I'm not wrong, this storage bag belongs to Shi Yang. Shi Yang. Before Ningyu could speak, Li Tongtian's expression changed. You know Shi Yang? Ningyu frowned. Yes. Li Tongtian nodded. Shi Yang has the same status as me. The same status as you. Ningyu raised his eyebrows. Li Tongtian was a fake holy son. It seemed that Shi Yang was also a fake holy son. Russell. Suddenly, a figure pushed through the crowd and slowly appeared in the area. Seeing the figure's face, Ning Yu's mouth opened and closed. He was a little confused. It was not that he had never seen this martial artist before, but he knew him. It was Shi Yang who had just left. Why did Shi Yang come here now? Could it be that Shi Yang and Ouyang Ling were on good terms? Swoosh. Sure enough, seeing Shi Yang coming over, Ouyang Ling flicked his wrist and directly threw the storage bag to Shi Yang. Thanks. Shi Yang accepted the storage bag and said calmly. You don't have to thank me. Just don't forget what you promised me. Ouyang Ling shrugged. Shi Yang will definitely do what I promised. After saying this, Shi Yang left the area without looking back. Ouyang Ling let Feng Zi go. Although Ningyu had some doubts about Shi Yang's actions, The most important thing now was to save Feng Zi. Everything else could be put aside. I will definitely let Feng Zi go, but not now. Ouyang Ling smiled and said, after the alchemy competition ends, I will naturally release Feng Zi. Feng Chang, look after Feng Zi. Without my permission, no one is allowed to approach him. Ouyang Ling turned around and said, whoosh. Ning Yu's face darkened completely when he heard what Ouyang Ling said. I didn't want to make a move here. Ning Yu took a deep breath and said coldly, since you want to die, don't blame me. Courting death? What right do you have to talk to me like that? Ouyang Ling raised his brows and said sinisterly, I don't need to use my full strength to deal with you. If you know what's good for you, hurry up and scram before I change my mind. Lu Wei is the person that royal father wants to see. Let her stay by your side for a while longer. After the alchemy competition ends, I will take her away as well. Ouyang Ling glanced at Lu Wei and an evil smile appeared on his face. This smile was as annoying as it could get. There is a path to heaven, but you don't take it. There is no door to hell, but you barge in. Ning Yu's eyes turned cold. He immediately rose from the ground and rushed towards Ouyang Ling at an extremely fast speed. Ouyang Ling was the 13th prince of the Great Xia Kingdom. Initially, Ning Yu didn't want to have a conflict with him here. Otherwise, he wouldn't have taken out 300,000 supreme-grade essence crystals. But things didn't go as he wished. Ouyang Ling was extremely cunning. He took the essence crystals but didn't let them go. With Ning Yu's character, he naturally wanted to get back at him and teach Ouyang Ling a lesson. He wanted to let him know that there were some people that he could offend and some people that he couldn't. Come at me. Looking at the approaching Ning Yu, Ouyang Ling didn't get angry. Instead, he looked excited. Let me see what the core disciple of Danwu College's sacred institution is capable of. Ouyang Ling poured essence energy into his wrist and backhanded a punch to clash with Ning Yu's fist. Bang! When the two fists collided, what Ouyang Ling expected didn't happen. Evenly matched. This was his first exchange with Ning Yu, and both parties were actually evenly matched. Indeed, you have some skills. Ouyang Ling smiled faintly and said, next, I will let you know the difference between the Yin-Yang realm and the Origin Core realm. Once he finished speaking, the essence in Ouyang Ling's sea of consciousness rumbled and gushed out, gathering at his wrist. Competing with me in terms of essence concentration? Originally, Ning Yu wanted to withdraw his palm, but when he saw Ouyang Ling's action, he immediately changed his mind. Even though Ouyang Ling's cultivation was at the initial stage of the Yin-Yang realm, Ouyang Ling was still lacking in terms of essence concentration. Buzz buzz. In the next moment, Ning Yu activated the spiritual technique and controlled the essence in his sea of consciousness to flow into his palm. In order to completely defeat Ouyang Ling, Ning Yu directly activated the essence in 2 golden elixirs. Haha, Ning Yu, do you feel better? Ouyang Ling saw Ning Yu's pained expression and could not help but laugh. If you give me another 300,000 supreme essence crystals, I can let you go and spare your life. You'd better take care of yourself and prepare 600,000 transcendent-grade origin crystals. Otherwise, I don't dare to guarantee your safety. Ning Yu said indifferently. Ah, with your pinnacle primal core realm cultivation? Ouyang Ling threw his head back and laughed. After laughing, Ouyang Ling's expression changed drastically, and he suddenly spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. Impossible, this is impossible. You are only at the pinnacle primal core realm cultivation. How can your essence be so strong? Ouyang Ling's eyes widened and his face was full of disbelief. From the force that came from his palm, Ouyang Ling judged that Ning Yu's essence was even stronger than his. One must know that he was an early-stage Yin-Yang warrior, while Ning Yu was only at the pinnacle primal core realm. How did he do it? Could it be that Ning Yu had a Dharma treasure that could strengthen his essence? Thinking of this, Yang Ling said viciously, I advise you to stop, or else you will. However, before Yang Ling could finish his sentence, he let out a shriek like a pig being slaughtered, and beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. In short, 600,000 supreme essence crystals. Ningyu exerted some force in his palm and said, Hand it over and I can consider letting you go. Otherwise, I can't guarantee what will happen. As he spoke, Ningyu secretly sent a message to Li Tongtian. Save Feng Zi and subdue Feng Chang. Li Tongtian had been looking for an opportunity all along, and now that he heard Ningyu's words, he immediately acted and very quickly saved Feng Zi. Feng Chang was only at the early primal core realm, and with Li Tongtian's ability, he did not need to use his full strength. Ningyu, you are the first person who has dared to ask me for so many supreme essence crystals. Although he was at an absolute disadvantage in his fight with Ningyu, Yang Ling still said coldly, This is the capital, the territory of the royal family. If you stop here, I can pretend that today's incident never happened. Otherwise, at this point, Yang Ling paused for a moment before continuing. Chapter 647. The Four Tigers of Vajra. Chapter 647. I won't let you see the sun tomorrow. When Yang Ling said this, the entire area instantly quietened down. Everyone looked at Ningyu, wanting to see how Ningyu would react. Looking at the current situation, Ningyu held the absolute advantage in the fight with Yang Ling. It could be said that if Ningyu was willing, he could even severely injure Yang Ling. However, the surrounding martial artists did not think so. They knew that Yang Ling was the 13th prince and had an extremely high status in the imperial family. If Ningyu dared to deal a heavy blow to Yang Ling, the imperial family would probably not sit by and do nothing. Whether I can see the sun tomorrow or not, it's not up to you. Ningyu was already used to everyone's reaction and did not take it to heart. I'll ask you one last time. 600,000 supreme grade essence crystals, will you take it or not? Humph. You want to snatch supreme grade essence crystals from my hands? Dream on. Yang Ling snorted coldly. All these years, it's always others who give me supreme grade essence crystals. I've never given others supreme grade essence crystals. Since that's the case, I can only apologize to you. Ningyu shrugged and then exerted a little force with his palm. Crack! A crisp sound, accompanied by a miserable shriek that sounded like a pig being slaughtered, resounded in the area. The crack came from Sikong Ling's wrist being broken. The shriek came from Yang Ling's mouth. Still not coming out? Take down this arrogant fellow, Ningyu. The pain that came from his wrist caused Yang Ling to let out a shrill cry. After the shrill cry, Yang Ling withdrew a storage pouch from his pocket and said fiercely, I'll pay 300,000 transcendent-grade origin crystals for anyone that can kill Ningyu. Swoosh. However, just as Yang Ling took out the storage pouch, Ningyu's eyes lit up and he immediately dashed out. In the next moment, Ningyu flashed past Yang Ling like a bolt of lightning. Damn it! My storage bag! My supreme-grade origin crystals! Lowering his head to look at his empty palm, Yang Ling shouted, 4 Tigers of Vajra, kill Ningyu at all costs. Buzz! As soon as Yang Ling's voice fell, the space around him suddenly trembled. Then, 4 cultivators landed beside him. Hiss! As soon as the 4 Tigers of Vajra appeared, the surrounding martial artists with low cultivation all gasped. Mid-Yin-Yang realm. Based on the aura emitted by the Vajra 4 Tigers, everyone could tell that their cultivation had reached the mid-stage of the Yin-Yang realm. 4 intermediate Yin-Yang stage martial artists suddenly appeared in the crowd, causing a commotion among the crowd. Everyone chose to retreat. Brother Dan, should we stop them? The appearance of the 4 Vajra Tigers naturally attracted the attention of Peng Zhou and Dan Chenzi. Among them, Peng Zhou frowned and said, Yang Ling is the 13th prince. If anything happens to him, I'm afraid Ouyang Ba will not let it go. There's no need to stop them. Although Ning Yu is arrogant, he won't kill Ouyang Ling in front of everyone unless he wants to die. Dan Chenzi waved his hand and said, "There are only 10 minutes left before the alchemy competition. I advise you to contact Situan as soon as possible." Situan, that guy, I wonder where he died. Speaking of Situan, Peng Zhou was instantly furious. The alchemy competition was about to begin, but there was no sign of Situan. The Situ family controls the Fu royal city, and Situan is a genius that the Situ family has trained with all their resources. If anything happens to him, it will be troublesome for you, Dan Chenzi said with a frown. It's unlikely that he will be killed. To ensure Situan's safety, the Situ family has sent a late-stage Yin-Yang realm martial artist to protect him. Peng Zhou thought for a while and said, "I'll send someone to look for him. Hopefully, he will be found in the last 10 minutes. Let's not talk about Situan for now. Brother Dan, when the elites from the various forces come, I hope you can share the burden for me." There were still 10 minutes before the alchemy competition began, but Danwu College, Drunken Cloud Heights, the Black Market, and the Zhang family had not sent any elites over. Peng Zhou was definitely worried. Putting Danwu College aside, the other three forces all had elders at the peak of the Yin-Yang realm. There was even a rumor that the leader of the Black Market, the Black Widow, had already reached the half-step manifestation realm. Don't worry. The alchemy competition is a grand event for the entire Xia kingdom. No one will come and cause trouble. Dan Chenzi smiled, indicating that Peng Zhou could rest assured. Don't worry. I am the president of the Alchemy Union. If there is any danger this time, I will have to bear a lot of responsibility. How can I not worry? Peng Zhou cursed in his heart, but he said, "With Brother Dan's words, I am relieved. Let's see how Ning Yu will deal with the 4 tigers." Swoosh. In the plaza, Ning Yu looked at the 4 middle-stage Yin-Yang stage cultivators in front of him without any change in his expression. "Oh Yangling, do you think that these nobodies can defeat me?" Ning Yu had even killed a peak Yin-Yang realm martial artist before, so he naturally did not care about a mere mid-Yin-Yang realm martial artist. Nobodies? Ouyang Ling couldn't believe his ears. His eyes widened as he said, "Don't look down on them just because they are at the intermediate Yin-Yang stage. If the 4 of them join forces, even a late Yin-Yang stage martial artist would be defeated. Ning Yu, I admit that you are strong, but you are only at the peak of the primal core stage. Your overall strength is only comparable to a mid-Yin-Yang realm martial artist." Yangling's lips curled up as he continued, "Against the 4 tigers, you won't even last 3 moves. Sigh, some people are really full of themselves." Ning Yu sighed softly and said, "Not to mention the 4 tigers, even if it were the 5 tigers or the 6 tigers, I would still be fearless." "Arrogant!" Yangling shouted. Whoosh! Perhaps sensing Yangling's anger, the 4 tigers immediately rushed out and attacked Ning Yu from 4 directions. This time, Ning Yu has kicked an iron plate. Yes, the 4 tigers are all mid-Yin-Yang realm martial artists. How can Ning Yu be their match? In my opinion, 3 moves at most. Within 3 moves, Ning Yu will be defeated. 3 moves is a bit exaggerated. After all, Ning Yu still defeated the early Yin-Yang realm Ouyang Ling. A martial artist spoke up for Ning Yu. "According to my estimation, Ning Yu should be able to withstand 5 moves, or even 10. Reincarnation palm." Ning Yu's ears directly filtered out the crowd's discussion. With a flick of his wrist, he attacked the mid-Yin-Yang realm martial artist at the forefront. When he had defeated Yangling, Ning Yu had not used up all the primal qi in his 2 golden elixirs, so there was still a large portion left on his wrist. Furthermore, in order to achieve victory in 1 move, Ning Yu secretly separated a bit of soul power and wrapped it around his wrist. Combined with the remaining primal qi, he used the 6th move of the Phantom Reincarnation Palm. Chapter 648. Yuan Increasing Array. Chapter 648. Yuan Increasing Array. Rumble. The palm print was small at first, but it grew larger as time went on. In the end, it grew to the size of a person. Moreover, the violent yuan qi fluctuation on the palm print caused the surrounding onlookers to retreat again and again. They chose to retreat because they felt a strong sense of danger from the palm print. Acting mysterious. Comparatively speaking, the four tigers were in a much better state. After all, they were intermediate yin-yang stage martial artists who had fought advanced yin-yang stage martial artists before. Although the power of the palm print seemed to be great in their hearts, it was not much different from the attack of an ordinary yin-yang realm martial artist. Formation. With a low shout, the leader of the four tigers, Golden Tiger, waved his hands repeatedly, and a small array appeared in front of him. Seeing the small array formation appear, the remaining three middle-stage yin-yang realm cultivators poured their essence energy into the array formation without holding back. Ningyu, be careful. This is a yuan increasing array that can increase a martial artist's yuan qi. Remember not to compete with them in terms of yuan qi density. At that moment, Hong Mo's voice sounded in Ningyu's mind. Hearing Hong Mo's voice, Ningyu was stunned at first, then he asked, "The four of them are intermediate yin-yang stage martial artists. With the support of the yuan increasing array, their yuan qi density can reach the peak of the advanced yin-yang stage." The peak of the advanced yin-yang stage. Ningyu frowned slightly and came up with a countermeasure. Crack. At the same time, the reincarnation palm print collided with the array set up by the four tigers and dissipated. Ha ha ha, Ningyu, you can't even break the array. How are you going to fight me? Ouyang Ling laughed when he saw the palm print dissipate. Idiot! Ningyu did not even look at him. He immediately summoned the yuan qi in his sea of consciousness and wrapped it around his wrist. Although Ningyu had added a bit of soul power to the reincarnation palm, there was too little yuan qi, causing the palm print's power to be less than a tenth of its peak. Such a powerful palm print naturally could not break the vitality increasing formation. Damn it, for tigers of Vajra, let Ningyu have a taste of your true strength. Ouyang Ling didn't see Ningyu's expression, but he heard Ningyu's words. As the 13th prince, how could he tolerate Ningyu calling him an idiot in front of so many people? Understood. Golden Tiger King Kong took a deep breath and immediately reached his left hand into the qi-increasing formation, while his right hand blasted out a palm print. Walala! The palm print that the Vajra Golden Tiger struck out was somewhat special. It did not completely separate from the Vajra Golden Tiger's palm, and it was still connected by a thin beam of essence energy. You want to rely on the yuan increasing array to provide yuan qi? Ningyu raised his eyebrows and instantly guessed King Kong Jinhu's intentions. Although the yuan qi light pillar was relatively weak, the quality of the yuan qi inside was very high. A single strand of yuan qi was equivalent to all the yuan qi in an early primal core stage martial artist's body. If that's the case, I'll destroy your yuan increasing formation. Ningyu's eyes turned cold as he once again blasted out a palm print towards Golden Tiger's palm print. Ha ha ha, even an advanced yin-yang stage martial artist wouldn't dare to take my palm print head-on, I don't believe. What? Seeing Ningyu's palm print fly towards his own palm print, Golden Tiger King Kong looked up to the sky and laughed. However, before he could finish laughing, his eyes widened and his face was full of confusion. In the distance, Ningyu had unknowingly appeared beside the yuan increasing formation. His fist carried a violent wave of yuan qi as it slammed into the yuan increasing formation. Oh no! The three of you, stop him! The sudden change of events caused Golden Tiger King Kong's expression to change drastically. The yuan increasing formation cannot be destroyed, or we will all be in danger. Haha, don't you think it's a little too late to think of stopping me now? Ningyu grinned as his fist landed heavily on the yuan increasing formation. Crack! As soon as Ning Yu's fist came into contact with the yuan increasing formation made a cracking sound and collapsed with a loud bang. After the yuan increasing formation collapsed, the 4 tigers were instantly dumbfounded. Then, the 4 of them each spat out a mouthful of dark red blood, and their faces became extremely pale. Defeated, the 4 tigers were actually defeated. Isn't this too unbelievable? The 4 Vajra tigers are martial artists at the intermediate yin-yang realm. When the 4 of them join forces, they can even defeat and kill martial artists at the advanced yin-yang realm. How did Ning Yu defeat them? How did he defeat them? Are you blind? Ning Yu defeated them with his fist. The surrounding martial artists all revealed shocked expressions. They had not expected Ning Yu to win easily against the 4 of them by himself. At that moment, the martial artist who had said that Ning Yu would not be able to withstand 3 moves was flushed, and he felt worse than if he had eaten sheep dung. This is impossible. Absolutely impossible. Ouyang Ling's heart was full of bitterness. He never would have thought that the 4 tigers would be defeated in the hands of Ning Yu. One had to know that the 4 tigers had defeated advanced yin-yang stage martial artists. Ouyang Ling, you still lack 300,000 transcendent grade essence crystals. After defeating the 4 tigers, Ning Yu came to Ouyang Ling's side and said lightly, "If you don't want to lose an arm or a leg, it's better to hand over 300,000 transcendent grade essence crystals." Hearing Ning Yu's words, Ouyang Ling's face was gloomy, and he was having an intense mental struggle in his heart. This time, he brought a total of 700,000 transcendent grade essence crystals. Among them, 300,000 had already been snatched by Ning Yu. Now that Ning Yu still wanted to ask him for 300,000 transcendent grade essence crystals, he was naturally unwilling. Because if he took out another 300,000 transcendent grade essence crystals, he would only be left with 100,000 transcendent grade essence crystals. You don't want to take it out? The corner of Ning Yu's lips curled up. Sure, leave an arm behind. Then, Ning Yu released a little of his aura and pressed down on Ouyang Ling. Being pressured by Ning Yu's aura, Ouyang Ling felt a sweetness in his throat and spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. I'll give you the essence crystals. Clenching his fists, Ouyang Ling said in a low voice, "Isn't it just 300,000 transcendent grade essence crystals? I can take it out easily." Swoosh. Ouyang Ling flicked his sleeves, and a storage pouch rushed out and flew towards Ning Yu. But Ning Yu caught the storage pouch firmly and sent a bit of his soul power into it to check. Then, he nodded and said, "You're much richer than the other princes. If there's such a good thing in the future, don't forget about me. Let's go." Ouyang Ling's face was gloomy. He first glared at Ning Yu, then walked out of the square without looking back. Behind Ouyang Ling, the 4 tigers of Vajra were indignant. Shameful, it was really shameful. The 4 tigers of Vajra knew very well that they had not only embarrassed themselves, but they had also embarrassed Ouyang Ling. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.